It's playoff football from Fargo, North Dakota. This afternoon, inside a jam-packed Fargo Dome, Georgia Southern is one win away from playing for their 7th national championship. North Dakota State has 8 national titles on their resume, but a victory today, and they'd have a chance at their first national crown since moving into the Division I ranks. It's Georgia Southern and the Bison of North Dakota State with a trip to the national championship game on the line, and it's next. Welcome to the NCAA Division I Football Championship presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. This afternoon we're inside the Fargo Dome in Fargo, North Dakota, the home of the Bison of North Dakota State. And this afternoon the Bison roll off the welcome mat for the Eagles of Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern, the champions in the Southern Conference. North Dakota State, the co-champs in the Missouri Valley Conference. And now they have 60 minutes to decide who gets the shot at Sam Houston State. Play for the national championship. Bearcats holding off Montana last night to move into the finals. Hi, everybody. Along with John Congemi, the former Pitt quarterback, I'm Mike Gleason. It's always great to have you with us. You know, John, you look at the college football at this juncture, the FBS fans, one operative word is playoff. These guys get to experience a playoff. And now they're one game away from playing for all the marbles.
Well, Mike, anytime you're in a playoff situation, your focus is on survival. You win one week, you get to advance. And both of these teams are deserving of advancing, and they're one step closer to becoming a champion. And that's what they want at this level, and that's why this building is so excited today.
They do it differently, especially offensively, but it's amazing how comparable the numbers are.
Well, they can both score points, Mike, and for the Georgia Southern Eagles, over 37 points a game, and for the Bison, over 32. But I think the turnover ratio is going to be very important. 15, plus 15 for the Bison and plus 5 for the Eagles. I think this game may just turn out a turnover in special teams, a block kick, a return. That could change this game and change the outcome of this game.
Well, you saw where the Eagles are averaging 37 points a game, and they do it with the triple option. And, you know, when you mention the triple option, that's easier said than done, especially if you don't see it that often.
When you have a guy at quarterback like Jay Beauchamp who controls the triple option, he makes great decisions distributing the football. 14 rushing touchdowns. They average over 334 yards rushing per game. He does a great job, and his first option in the triple option is running back Dominic Swope. He's a guy that hits the holes with quickness in between the tackles. He's a north-south runner, 6 touchdowns on the season. I love the way he runs in between the tackles, and he doesn't run like a fullback when he gets in the open field.
As a team, they have 49 rushing touchdowns. In North Dakota State, they have 33 touchdowns from the ground. But their quarterback, Brock Jensen, he puts it up a little more often, about 22 times a game, and his percentages are out of this world.
Brock does a great job of controlling the game and taking care of the football. 12 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. He's had to fight an injury all season long since the 6th week, the turf toe that limited his mobility. But guys behind him that do have mobility are the senior running back DJ McNorton and the sophomore Sam O'Jury. McNorton, 12 touchdowns. He has great quickness. He's an instinctive runner, and O'Jury has that blend of power and speed. 10 touchdowns on the season. He's a guy that can pick him up and put him down.
And of course, one major weapon for the Bison, this crowd inside the Fargo Dome. I was told it's not a bad idea to bring some earplugs. We'll be back to kick it off right after this. They say it's very difficult for the opposition to hear the signals inside this building. It is jam-packed for this playoff game. Craig Bowl in his 9th season as the head coach of the Bison. He's 73-31. Coach of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference. The AFCA FCS Regional 4 Coach of the Year. He's 12-1. Jeff Monken in his 2nd season, 2nd straight year in the semifinals. He's 21-7 overall, and he was Coach of the Year in the Southern Conference.
Mike, this is going to be an exciting football game because both of these teams have discipline on offense, on defense, and on special teams, and it's going to come down to who makes that mistake, because both offenses, as we talked about in the open, can score points. Both defenses can take it away from you, so protecting the football will be paramount today. You have to protect it, and when you have opportunities to score, when you get in those red zones, when you have those big play chances, you have to take advantage.
Billy Greer ready to kick it off. Now, Georgia Southern won the toss. They deferred, but this is exactly what Coach Bull wanted. He wanted that football.
Yeah, he wanted that Georgia Southern offense and that triple option to stay on the sidelines and see what his offense can do, and especially on special teams, can they make a big play to open up this game?
Here's the opening kick, and it's taken at the 11-yard line by DJ McNorton. Now it's Marcus Williams. So McNorton pitches it to Williams, and he's up to the 25-yard line. A return of 9. And the tackle finally made by Lavelle Westbrooks. So North Dakota State coming in averaging 32 points a game. That's number 2 in the NBC. And Brock Jensen, only a redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 222. And as you talked about at the top of the show, John, his percentages are very, very impressive.
Well, he takes care of the football, and that's going to be paramount today for Brock. He needs to come out. He's a smart guy, makes good decisions from the pocket. He's gifted. He has above average arm, and you can see the record, the career record as a starter, 16-4. He knows how to win football games, most importantly.
DJ McNorton, the senior out of Channelview, Texas, will start in the backfield behind Jensen. First play of the ball game. McNorton. Not too much running room, and it's going to be a loss on the play. Failed to get back to the line of scrimmage. A loss of 1 for DJ McNorton. Looking at the Bison offensively, what about the impact players, John?
They have to be able to do something on offense, defense, and special teams, and to make an impact today, you have to come up, and that's a guy on the front end, Brent Russell. He has to do a great job of getting in and disrupting this big offensive line. On the other side, DJ McNorton, who's had that carry, has to get to the outside and get the edge with his speed.
2nd down, 11 yards to go for the Bison. This time running out of the I formation. Jensen wants to throw it, and this one is going to be shy the intended receiver, Warren Holloway. Good coverage by the Eagles defensively.
For North Dakota State, we talked about the running attack of McNorton, but on the outside, there's a guy that can catch the football, and that's Warren Holloway. Last week against Lehigh, he had a career-high 8 receptions for 98 yards. This is a guy that has 7 touchdowns on the season, and he's really picked up the slack from Ryan Smith, who's had hamstring issues. So that's the guy on the outside that needs to make big plays.
3rd down, 44% on the year, the Bison are, as far as converting on this play. This time out of the shotgun, Jensen. 2nd pass of the game. This time he's on his mark. It's Ryan Smith. He's up over the midfield stripe. Ryan Smith, the sophomore from right here in North Dakota. He's been battling a hamstring, and that is huge for this team if he can play.
Well, that's what we talked about. Warren Holloway was the guy that was taking the pressure off of Ryan Smith. And this is a great job by the offensive line of the Bison. They gave Brock Jensen a great throwing lane to find his sophomore wide receiver, Ryan Smith, down the middle. Little dig route on the inside. He gets inside of Jarek McKinnon, and that's just a nice job of protecting the football. Now they have it on the Eagles side of the 50-yard line.
27 on the play for Ryan Smith, his 41st catch in 2011. Eagles showing some pressure on top of your screen, but Jensen saw it, goes the other way, and he's inside the 45 down to about the 42. Roderick Tinsley, the senior from Soperton, Georgia, makes the stop. A gain of 7. Speaking of Georgia Southern defensively, how about some impact players for the Eagles, John?
Well, they have to do a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage, and that starts with Brent Russell. He's a guy that's strong. He's an emotional leader. He plays with passion, and that shows with 15 tackles for loss on the season and 5 sacks. So he does a great job of getting on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Brent Russell, 20.5 sacks. You saw the defensive player of the year in the Southern Conference. There's McNorton again. And again, not too much running room down to the 40-yard line. There's Russell on the stop, a gain of 2. You know, Jeff Monken was saying when they played Alabama, and they played Alabama very well, he said Brent Russell just looked like he belonged on that football field against the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, there was a couple of players that Coach Monken said that really played at a high level, and that was one of them in Brent Russell. He has that demeanor, 6'2", 291. He just plays with passion, and he does a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage for that Eagle defense.
3rd and 1. Jensen. Nope. No going. Tried some misdirection, but the Eagles didn't bite. Again, big number 66, Brent Russell, was there. Loss of 3, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
We talked about how important it would be to establish the line of scrimmage. You take the football off the line of scrimmage, and this was no way was he going to get that edge to the short side of the field. That was a good job by Brent Russell, just identifying where the quarterback was, and now the Bison in a punting situation.
Darian Robinson back at the 10-yard line. This is Matt Voigtlander, the senior. Interesting story. We'll talk more about Matt's and his athletic prowess as the game progresses. Robinson with a fair catch at the 10. And now we're going to see that triple option, a 34-yard punt. Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator for North Dakota State. I wonder how much sleep he got now.
Not much.
Faced the triple option, led by Jabo Shaw, the senior from Flowery Branch, Georgia.
Well, they have to be technically sound against this triple option, especially when Jabo Shaw, the quarterback, you see his career numbers. He leads the team with 14 rushing touchdowns. He's great in the red zone, but he has 90 yards now of green in front of him to dissect this defense and the noise in the dome.
Here's the pitch, and the Eagles try to turn the corner on the wide side. First carry is number 19. That's J.J. Wilcox, the junior from Cairo, Georgia. Marcus Williams makes the stop.
And Mike, this is one way you can quiet the crowd if you can win on first down, get some momentum going in this triple option. This crowd's going to come back on second down, but if you can continue to get 5, 6, 7, 8 yards on first down, it's going to take a lot out of this crowd and make it a lot easier to communicate on offense.
And the Eagles pick up 8 on their first play from scrimmage, so it's 2nd and short now. 2nd and 2. And they're going to move the chains on the second play of the game. They pick up 4, and it's first down, Georgia Southern. Colton Boyer makes the stop. You know, John, you look at this offense for the Eagles of Georgia Southern. They've had 15 guys carry the football. Now let's look at the top 8. 8 of 15 have combined for over 658 carries.
It's amazing how they can distribute the football on the ground, and it all starts with Jabo Shaw. Normally it's Swope that gets the first look, but he's done a nice job of giving everybody a touch, and it keeps everybody happy.
This is Shaw, and he's tripped up. Colton Hegel, the sophomore from Appleton, Wisconsin, coming up, and they say Hegel's going to be key in this football game. He's playing with a cast on his hand after breaking his thumb.
But he's a mentally tough guy, and he's going to have to come from space, Mike, and really get open field tackles. There you can see he just throws that left shoulder down at the quarterback, Jabo Shaw, but he's going to have to make secure tackles in the open field if this defense is going to have any success.
They got back to the line of scrimmage, so it's 2nd and 10. Here's Shaw again. Cuts it back up over the 25 to about the 26. And Grant Olson, the sophomore from Plymouth, Minnesota, making the stop, a gain of 4. But it's going to be 3rd and 6 now.
Well, now this is playing into the defense of the Bison's hands right now. You have 3rd and 6, 3rd and long. This crowd will get into it. This defensive front will be excited, and they have to communicate. They have to trust their eyes. That's what Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator, said. You have to trust what you see in this triple option. Don't try to make plays that aren't yours.
Shaw's going down. And folks, that is the 37th sack as Chad Wilson, the senior from Layton, Utah, gets his 3rd of the season.
and only the 8th sack against the Eagles. They don't throw it much, but when they do, they're normally well protected. That's just a great job individually by Chad Wilson getting to the quarterback. There were 4 or 5 yellow jerseys in and around the quarterback, Shaw, so that's a good set of downs to come out and start this game.
Charlie Edwards at about the 5. Ryan Smith comes up, backs off, finally takes the football at about the 37-yard line, and here he goes. Well, the play is going to be stopped. The whistle blew. He was waving his arms because he was waving his teammates off, but I think they said that, no, that's a fair catch. Penalty flag dropped at about the 41.
We're going to get to take another look at this.
It was a 41-yard punt, and the penalty flag was dropped at about the 41.
The receiver gave a get-away signal, an invalid fair catch signal, and then advanced the ball. By rule, it's a delay of game foul. Receiving team, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's exactly what happened. He was telling his teammates to stay away from the football, but the officials didn't see it that way. You can't be waving your arms. So North Dakota State's defense on their first possession facing that triple option. They come up with their 37th sack of the season. We're back in the Fargo Dome right after this. The NCAA Division I College Football Championship is presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. And in part by the new Capital One Cash Card for people who want 50% more cash. See the Bison working out. Craig Ball said this group has a work ethic second to none.
Well, it shows in their record and the success they've had this year, Mike. And this crowd really gets into it, especially when the Bison are on defense and the crowd gets so loud, and now they're on offense, and they're a very educated crowd. They're going to be very quiet when North Dakota has the football so they can communicate on offense, and it's fun to watch, and it's a fun place to watch a college football game.
How about Kangemi's keys to the game? Let's start with that Eagle defense first.
Well, the Eagles have to create some type of turnovers. The Bison have only turned it over 11 times. That's the fewest in the FCS division. So they have to find a way to get the football. And on offense, conversely, the Bison have to win the first quarter because Georgia Southern is 9-0 when leading after the first session. So they have to come in and score early, win the battle the first quarter.
Second possession for the Bison of North Dakota State. 12-1, co-champions of the Missouri Valley Conference. And Jensen wants to go upstairs again. And looking, what a catch. Matt Feldman, the senior from Becker, Minnesota. That's his 25th catch. Deion Stanley, the redshirt freshman in coverage for Georgia Southern. This one goes 25.
Boy, that's a high level. That's a great throw by Brock Jensen. Talk about dropping it in the bucket. Great protection again. And watch the touch pass to his big tight end. Just perfectly where his guy could get it, and nobody in a white jersey had a shot because of ball location. That's just a perfect throw and great concentration on the catch.
You look at Jensen, of course he threw a pick last week against Lehigh, but He had gone 142 consecutive passes without a pick, so they say consistency is the biggest key as far as his improvement.
Well, you can see in the numbers, 12 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. A very high percentage, over 68% of his passes are completed, and he takes great care of the ball. And that tells me, Mike, he has great location on the football. He makes good decisions from the pocket, but it all starts with those big guys up front that are giving him great protection early in this game.
That timeout was charged to North Dakota State, so they'll have 2 remaining in the first half here. You take a look at the Bison, 10-1 in the regular season, co-champions, as I mentioned, with Northern Iowa. And number 2 in scoring offense, but defense is really the name of the game. They really get after it. They're number 1 in the country on the FCS level as far as keeping points off the board.
Well, they pitched a shutout last week against Lehigh. Only the Penguins from Youngstown State were able to beat these guys. So this is a team that's on a bit of a roll. They feel like this is their destiny. Their head coach, Craig Bohl, said, you know, we expected to get into the playoffs. We're not surprised, but we had to work to get here. And that's why you see such execution on the defensive side and now from their quarterback and tight end on that big play.
And Sam Ujiri, the sophomore, who had 136 yards rushing, he's in the backfield for the first time this afternoon for the Bison. Ujiri, number 22. And he gets the call. Delay right up the middle, and he's inside the 40. He picks up 5 on his first carry. Kyle Olbeck, the junior from Gainesville, Georgia, makes the stop from his rural linebacker position. You look at Georgia Southern, 9-2 in the regular season. Now their losses, Appalachian State, that was payback for last year when they snapped that 26-game winning streak, and Alabama. And they had 302 yards rushing against that Crimson Tide.
And they had their starters in. The Crimson Tide had their starters in with 44 seconds left to go in that game. So Georgia Southern has some athletes on both sides of the football field.
Yeah, 302 yards against the Crimson Tide.
That's pretty good.
The most that Bama gave up since 2007. Jensen puts it up again. And this one's complete to Holloway. That's his 71st catch of the season. And LaRon Scott in coverage. And Blake Riley was putting on some pressure, but they pick up 5 on the play. It looks like Jensen, we said he throws it about 22 times a game, maybe more today.
Good timing in the pass offense here because he's going to get pressure up front from Blake Riley, number 96, the defensive tackle, but just a throw behind to the short side of the field. Jensen knows when Holloway's going to come out of that break. That's just nice timing, and it moves the chains for the Bison.
Ujiri with the call. And he's driven out of bounds. That was Deion Stanley, the redshirt freshman, who leads this team, incidentally, with 77 tackles coming in. Twice he was named Freshman of the Week of that Southern Conference. They pick up just 1 on the play.
And that's a guy that comes out of the secondary, Mike. We talked with Jeff Monken, the head coach. He doesn't say much, but he lets his play do the talking on the football field. And as you said, he leads the team in tackles. He has 7 breakups, 1 interception on the year. This is a guy that has good speed and good closing speed in the secondary.
DJ McNorton back in the backfield for the Bison now. McNorton needing 113 yards for 1,000. Ujiri just needing 22.
Man coverage going to go up top here, Mike.
And looking for Holloway. Good coverage, but the penalty flag goes down. I'm not sure if this isn't going to go against number 81, Holloway. LaRon Scott was with him, unless he was going to get called for face guarding. LaRon Scott did not turn around.
It is, Mike. You called that right. It's going against the offense. Warren Holloway pushing on the back of LaRon Scott. Let's take another look at this ball. Both defenders going up, but you can see Scott moving away.
Number 81, 15-yard penalty, second down.
I think, Mike, you were right. The push in the back right there, the lower back, gets LaRon Scott off of his pins and really loses his balance. That's just a good job. That was a good call by the official, and good eyes on you, Mike. You trusted your eyes, just like the Bison defensive coordinator is trying to get his guys to do on that side of the football, Scotty Hazelton.
So Coach Bohl would be proud I'm playing assignment football.
That's right.
Huh?
You won't be proud of the penalty, but you did a good job there.
Well, you mentioned discipline, though. That's obviously the operative word when you're facing a triple option team. But North Dakota State looking very comfortable on the offensive side right now with 6:32 to go in the first. Jensen wants to go upstairs again. And this time the intended receiver, Veldman. A little bit too far out in front. Darius Eubanks in coverage for Georgia Southern.
Little contact downfield. The crowd didn't like it, thought it might have been a pass interference call against the Eagles, and that time Brock Jensen really had nowhere to throw that football. That was good coverage by the secondary that time from Georgia Southern. They're going to have to come back and do it again here on 3rd and long. Try to win this battle of field position back with that big penalty on the offense of the Bison.
Jensen 3 for 5 here in the first quarter, 57 yards so far. And they swing it out to McDorton. Stutter step, and he gets down inside the 40-yard line, well shy of the first down. Had to get way down to the 23. Eubanks again, the Bandit, coming up to make the stop defensively for Georgia Southern. So here's another punting situation. Good time, John, to talk about Matt Voigtlander. The punter is the former running back with an 8.4-yard average, but they were looking for a punter. This guy's a scratch golfer who plays hockey, averaged 16 yards as a receiver. And now he comes in, first year, averaging 41 yards as a punter. Very unselfish, and he did what he needed to do to help this football team, and he's done an excellent job punting the football. And this one is going to hit inside the 5, but it's going in the end zone, so Georgia Southern, a little better field position this time. They'll start at the 20. 38-yard punts, a net of 18. Inside the Fargo Dome. No score yet. When we come back, the Eagles back on offense. And we're back inside the Fargo Dome in Fargo, North Dakota. No score, Georgia Southern and North Dakota State, both teams averaging above 30. Let's go back to the first playoff game for Dominique Swope, a true freshman running back, and he just broke loose for 255.
Well, he was inside, he was outside, he was everywhere for Georgia Southern. As you said, they scored 55 points, and it was really the legs of number 31 that got it done. 2 touchdowns. First back to rush for over 200 yards since 2007. He led the Eagles to 477 yards of rushing. So this is a guy that can get it done. We talked about him in the open. I love the way he runs in between the tackles, Mike. North and south, he's a one-cut runner, and he normally does all the dirty work. But when you see number 31 get in the open field, he still has enough speed to break away from defenders.
That Old Dominion game, the first play of the second half, he broke one for 76 in a touchdown. Now trying to get something going offensively here in Fargo. There's a fumble. And at the top of the broadcast, you mentioned the fact that North Dakota State was plus 15. That is a huge turnover for the Bison. Chad Wilson, the senior, broke through. First team all-conference, and he's the first defender to come up with a big play.
Mike, we talked about turnovers because these teams were so even. They like to score points. They can take it away. Who is going to make the turnover in this football game? The triple option. Normally you don't see it on the ground from Jay Beauchamp and Dominic Swope, but that's exactly what happened. Chad Wilson gets on the football for the Bison, and now they flip the field, get into the red zone, and have an excellent scoring opportunity.
Well, Shaw put the ball in with Swope, and Swope was hitting that line, and then Shaw tried to pull it out at the last second.
Yeah, that was one of those where you give it and you want to take it away at the same time, and it ends up on the ground. A huge turnover early in this game.
Well, Jury now dots the I. Great field position for North Dakota State. There's the whistles to stop the play before it got going.
I think it's going to be a delay.
Game, offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Third penalty for North Dakota State already here in the first quarter. They come in averaging about 5.5 penalties, about 49 yards. But you had mentioned turnovers at the top of the broadcast, and now they're plus 16.
Yeah, that's one penalty, though, that head coach Greg Bohl's not going to like on a turnover. You have plenty of time to get in and out of the huddle with a play called, and that's why you scratch your head and rub your eyebrows and you do all that stuff on the sidelines, because that shouldn't happen when you have the football in the red zone.
So now instead of 1st and 10, it's 1st and 15. Ojuri gets the call, tries to spin away, and does so just to get inside the 20-yard line. And he's stopped by Josh Rowe, the junior. A gain of 3 on the play for Ojuri.
This is the spot in the field, Mike, where you like to have your playmakers get involved, and you have such great size at that tight end position. And Matt Bellman, he's 6'6", over 250 pounds. So this is a guy that can get into those creases, into those seams, into the corner of the end zone, and you have a big target like that for Brock Jensen. You also have that playmaker on the outside in Holloway.
Picked up 3, 2nd and 12 now for the Bison. Intended Holloway, little push off. There's a touchdown. LaRon Scott in coverage. At the last second, Holloway gets away with a little push. But he comes down with his 14th career touchdown. 19-yard scoring strike for the Bison.
This place erupted when Brock Jensen looked to his playmaker on the outside, and you called it, Mike. I think Warren Holloway got away with a push-off again on the outside on Scott. You could see Scott's head turn around. He was definitely a push in the back again, but no call by the official, and the Bison go up 6-0.
Ryan Jastrom leads the Missouri Valley Conference with 94 points, make it 95, and put 7 on the board for the home team, North Dakota State, as Brock Jensen gets his 13th scoring strike in 2011.
All set up by a turnover. Excellent field position for the Bison. Jensen looks to Holloway, the playmaker on the outside. A 7-0 lead.
So the Bison of North Dakota State, the number 2 seed, they strike first, 4:45 to go in the first, and they do it through the air.
Well, they get that scoring drive, only 2 plays, 17 yards, under a minute. It was all set up by a turnover, a big fumble recovery by Chad Wilson. And outside, the playmaker loves to play physically on the outside and likes to use those hands. Warren Holloway gets away with a push-off there inside the end zone, right with the right arm there, pushes away LaRon Scott. He was caught for a penalty on the previous possession for the Bison, and you can tell right away Scott looked at the official and said, that's the same thing he did to me a couple plays ago or a series ago. But Warren gets away with it, and the Bison have a 7-0 lead. So that was what they wanted to do, Mike. They needed to get out front in this football game, because that triple option, normally they don't turn it over. They don't self-impose mistakes with letting it on the carpet. But they did, and the Bison took advantage, and now they have that touchdown lead.
Ron Scott, 3 picks, 17 passes broken up, and he's probably thinking, geez, the officials aren't going to call this. It could be a long afternoon for me.
Well, this is a guy that has great ball skills, and he's shown off those ball skills early in the game. He's played the football well. At that time, he had no chance to go up and compete for the football because of the push-off from Warren Holloway.
So Jastrom, the senior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, tees it up. And speaking of Laurent Scott, number 34, he's the deep man standing at the goal line for Georgia Southern. He's returned a couple of touchdowns this year. He's averaging 32 yards a return. Go way back to the opener, September 3rd. He took one to the house, 99 yards.
He's got an opportunity now to make a difference in this football game.
This is Scott inside the 5. Weaves his way up over the 20, dropped just shy of the 25-yard line, a 22-yard return. Coming up tonight on ESPNU, the college basketball triple-header starting at 6 Eastern. Appalachian State against number 6 North Carolina. 8 Eastern, it's Houston and Oklahoma with a Ramada All-College Classic. Then at 10 Eastern, it's number 21 Alabama against Kansas State. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers tonight on ESPNU, ESPN3, and also streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app.
Mike, if you're Georgia Southern on offense, there's no need to panic right now. You've got an offense that's tough to figure out. You just need to go back to basics, and just like it's 0-0 in this football game.
There's a whistle blowing again, stops the play before it got rolling.
Timeout. Timeout, North Dakota State, number 35.
Well, North Dakota State
Second
just
charge,
used up
team
their second timeout.
30-second timeout.
Officials out of the Patriot League here this afternoon. That's referee Todd Boyd. And Coach Bull, I'm not sure if he wanted to use that timeout.
Didn't look like it.
It
looked like it was called from the field of play. Christian Dudzik may have called it. So Coach Bull trying to figure out what's going on with my timeouts, but you know what? You'd rather be safe than sorry. If somebody's not lined up in that triple option, or you get somebody out of place, you may miss in space. In a big play, a simple handoff can go 60, 70, 80 yards.
You know, John, it's always understated the scout team. They never get any recognition, but I guess when you're playing a triple option offense and you haven't faced one all year, the scout team really deserves a lot of credit here.
Well, it's tough to simulate that with 1 week of practice. So you have to go out and you have to get guys in the right spots, and that's what Craig Bohl was telling us. You have to be able to fit your defense in the right spots and just do your job defensively.
Out on the 25-yard line, first man gets the call, and he powers up to the 30. Grant Olson makes the stop, a 5-yard gain. Let's look at the impact players now on the defensive side of the ball for North Dakota State.
Well, up front, you have to win the battle of the line of scrimmage. You know, Georgia Southern's trying to do that with their big playmaker, Brent Russell, but for the Bison, it's on the outside. Colton Boyer, he's a guy that has 8 sacks, over 11.5 tackles for loss. This guy can make it happen on the defense. And in the back end, Marcus Williams, he can shut down anybody on the outside. Maybe lost in space today because of the triple option, but he takes away one side of the field.
Nowhere to go. Grant Olson, again, the sophomore from Plymouth, Minnesota. A gain of 1 on the play. Marcus Williams, the sophomore you mentioned, one of 3 players with a pick 6 this year, but 7 INTs and 13 passes broken up. This guy, they say, will probably play on the next level.
Well, he changes the dynamic of a defense, and you can leave him on that island. He's one of those lockdown guys, and he can't fall asleep today because of the triple option. You're going to see run, 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 but sooner or later, Georgia Southern's going to try to go up top, and that's when Williams has to be ready to defend.
That's a great point. I want to look at some of these averages. Shaw. And it's the 6th time that he's tried to run the football, but this time Colton Hegel, the sophomore from Appleton, Wisconsin, comes up to make the stop again.
He's going to be the key to this defense today. At least that's what the Bison coaching staff wanted to believe. That's what happened in practice. He needs to come up from that secondary, make plays. Now, he came into this game with a broken thumb. Watch him come out and just lower that shoulder, gets that hand in there. No regard for his body. He's mentally tough and he's physically tough. He's a guy from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Good pressure on the punter this time. There's a penalty flag dropped, and Ryan Smith calls the fair catch. Gets the fair catch, a 31-yard punt, but again, the penalty flag dropped back at the 21. Did he just call running into the punter, or is it going to be roughing the punter?
Running into the kicker. Defense. Number 51. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, it gives him a first down. Number 51, Deshaun Dinwiddie, is called for the infraction. So that's 4 penalties now on North Dakota State.
And you don't like that, especially you're going to flip the field. That was a short punt. The Bison offense would have had the football around the 40-yard line. But Dinwiddie comes in, just touches the leg. That's a pretty good job by the punter that time of acting. That was a nice job on the play, but it's a situation where you still get called. You don't want to be in there because you're going to get your offense back on the field with an opportunity to build on your 7-0 lead.
So it winds up being a 30-yard penalty. Best field position now as Shaw goes up for the first time, and he has his man, Showers. And he's inside Bison territory. Ryan Drevlo, the sophomore, makes the stop. Kentrella Showers, that's his 11th reception, and now he's tied for the lead, John, with just 11.
Well, Mike, you talked about the big averages. Showers came into the game with 20 yards per catch, and you can see the room on the outside. That's what happens when you run this triple option. You get a lot of man coverage, so if you can come in and out of your routes and throw on time, you're going to have a big cushion and big separation for run after catch opportunities.
There's the pitch. Wilcox. And again, it's number 20, Colton Hegel, coming up to make the stop. You know, John, yesterday when the coaching staff said this guy is going to be playing a key role in this game, is he shadowing anyone, or is he basically just playing a safety position?
Mike, he's a guy in space. He's filling those alleys against the option on the outside or the quick tosses. He has to come up and make the play because there's nobody behind him. Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator, said he has to make tackles in space. He has to get off blocks and make tackles, and that's exactly what Colton's doing right now.
Again, you see the cast on that left hand. They had to re-break the thumb. First man again on a triple option inside the 40-yard line. As Kyle Emanuel, the redshirt freshman defensive end, makes the stop, they pick up 3 more. So you go back to that thumb again. He broke the thumb, came back and played. They had to re-break the thumb. He needed surgery, so he's missed the last 2 games. So really, if you played the game of football, which you did, he could be a little bit rusty on the defensive side.
Well, you would think so, but not right now. You don't see any rust on Hegel right now. He's coming up and making the plays that his defensive coordinator, Scotty Hazelton, said he needs to make for them to win the game.
Georgia Southern. They were converting 52% of their third downs. Not that time. They pick up 3 on the play. They needed 5.
And Mike, they're 50% on 4th down. They've converted 10 of 20, and I think this offense will stay on the football field with 3rd and short and go for it on 4th down.
Well, that's exactly what's happening. Jeff Monken says, hey guys, let's get some points here. Averaging 37, down 7-0, still in the first quarter, 21 seconds and counting. There's the pitch. And they're going to move the chains as Nico Hickey gets his first carry. And he picks up 3, and so it's a first down for Georgia Southern, so good call by Monken.
Mike, the key to this offense in the triple option, if you're an outside guy or you're one of those wings, you have to be able to block. And this is just a terrific block on the outside by Robinson, number 7. He's able to move the defender out of the way in John Pike and allow his running back to get the edge in Nico Hickey and move the chains on 4th down. You have to be able to block if you're anybody in a perimeter position that doesn't have the football to stay on the field for Georgia Southern.
And that's going to be the final play of the first quarter here inside the Fargo Dome. So the big first turnover, the defensive play, comes thanks to the Bison defense. North Dakota State capitalizes. They score. They're up 7-0, but right now, Georgia Southern on the move despite that touchdown pass to Holloway. Welcome back to the NCAA Division I Championship presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. As we take a look at the Red River in Fargo, North Dakota. And John Congemma, we talked about number 20, Colton Hegel, missing the last 2 games. You see the big cast. You'd never know it. He's playing like a champion out there.
No, this is a guy that's tackling in space, and he's the key to this defense today. Defensive coordinator Scotty Hazelton talked to us yesterday, and he said, Colton's going to need to tackle in space, and he can't have any hesitation. He needs to be committed. Whatever his eyes tell him to do, he needs to be aggressive and not hesitate. And that led to 6 total tackles in the first quarter for Colton Hegel. He's done a nice job. You see 4 solos, 6 totals. He's done a great job of filling those alleys against this triple option from the Eagles.
Right now, the Eagles on their 9th play. So far, the drive has gone 42 yards, almost 5 minutes. Robinson, Shaw keeps it, and wow! Chad Wilson, the senior, we mentioned he was first-team all-conference, and that's why he's been playing lights out.
-1 there by Chad Wilson. He already has a fumble recovery. He does a great job of getting to the outside. He's going to be in the middle of your screen. He's just going to scrape to the outside and be able to make the play on this triple option. Laterally, he has great vision, he has great speed, and he attacks the quarterback downhill and gets Shaw for a 1-yard loss. That's just great job of tackling in open space against that quarterback that can really run this triple option with high efficiency.
Georgia Southern would run 15 plays, 14 on the ground. Shaw to the shotgun now on 2nd and 11. Jabo Shaw. Boy, nowhere to go. The penalty, the whistle started blowing.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues. 2 games tonight. ESPN starting at 5:30 Eastern. Utah State takes on the Bobcats of Ohio in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Followed at 9 Eastern. Running back Ronnie Hillman and the Aztecs of San Diego State go up against Louisiana Lafayette, making its first bowl appearance in 41 years. Capital One Bowl Week tonight on ESPN, ESPN Radio, ESPN3, and also streaming live on WatchESPN.com and Watch ESPN app. 2nd and 16 for Shaw and company. This time he wants to throw it. He does. He has his 2nd completed ball. And there's a hit out of bounds. That's Kentrella Showers, his 2nd catch. Preston Evans pushes him out of bounds. A gain of 6 on the play.
Mike, this is not a situation for this triple option offense to be in. 2nd and 16. You want to stay away from penalties. You want to stay away from negative plays. Only 1 penalty against the Eagles, but they do have 1 costly turnover that cut the field in half. So if you're head coach Jeff Monken, you want to stay away from 3rd and long, 2nd and long, and now they're in a 3rd and 10 situation. You put more pressure on that quarterback to make plays down the field. Sometimes, Mike, this is a 2-down situation, but they're 0 for 3 on 3rd down situations today.
0 for 3, a team that converts 52% of the time, and Shaw goes up again, and he's out of bounds, ran out of real estate, but the penalty flag dropped right at the goal line. Again, the intended receiver was Showers. And now they're saying the ball was incomplete.
It looked like Marcus Williams did an excellent job of pinning the receiver to the boundary. And the ball was uncatchable. It was well out of bounds.
There is no foul for pass interference. The receiver was out of bounds in the contact.
So they pick up the flag.
That's a good job by the cornerback of really pushing the receiver to the boundary and using that as the 12th defender. Sometimes when you're a receiver in Showers, you have to leave room for the quarterback, at least 3 or 4 yards to drop it in, and the ball was well out of bounds anyway, but the Eagles are going to stay on the field and go for it on 4th down.
4th and 10.
Yes.
2nd time going for it on 4th down this afternoon. Shaw fires right over the middle, and it would have been a difficult catch. J.J. Wilcox really stretched out for it. And again, Colton Hegel was on the play defensively for the team in goal.
That's a great effort by the Eagles that time. J.J. Wilcox going over the middle trying to get it, but Colton Hegel, he's the man on the spot. for the Bison. They go for it on 4th and 10. But just better defense by Eagle. That's good ball position, but the Eagles come up short on that play.
The NCAA Division I College Football Championship brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And right across the street from the Fargo Dome, the Fargo Air Museum. That's some neat stuff over there. We were over there yesterday.
Yeah,
John.
checking that out. That was nice.
C-51 Mustang, the Huey helicopter. Dougie the Smile in the Sky, the DC-3. It's the Fargo Air Museum right across the street. Coach Bohl, former defensive coordinator at Nebraska. So a defensive-minded coach, singing the praises of his defense here so far today.
Yeah, he's singing the praises, and he tried to stay out of the meeting room today or this week on defense as well. He said, Scotty Hazelton's got it under control. I don't want to screw anything up. I just want to listen. I want to be that fly on the wall in the back of the room.
But again, how much sleep did Hazelton get this week?
Not much facing it. He's done a nice job in the first quarter.
Almost a perfect job so far. Bison have the football and the lead 7-0. 13:06 to go before halftime. McNorton right up the middle. McNorton inside Eagle territory before Lavelle Westbrooks makes the tackle. He picks up 20 on the play.
Explosive. He has great quickness. He's very instinctive. We talked about him at the open. He only needs a small crease behind this big offensive line, and he goes north and south. You see that little jump cut in the middle, protects the football, and gets it down the field in Eagle territory. This is just a nice job of protecting the football, initiating that contact at the end of that run. Good way to start this series.
And now Jury is in the backfield for North Dakota State as he docks the eye. And he gets the call. And he spins down inside the 45-yard line. Kyle Olbeck makes the stop. They pick up 3 more on the play.
It's very important for North Dakota State on this drive to get a score because you want to get that momentum and keep that momentum on your sideline right now. And right now you get 2 big runs. You get a run on first down that explodes up the middle by the senior DJ McNorton, and then you get O'Jury to come in and spell the senior. So you want to get points out of this drive and make it a 2-score game against Georgia Southern.
Jensen almost bobbled the snap, and he completes the ball at the 40-yard line to Ryan Smith. Pick up a 4. Now the Blue Bloods of college basketball take over ESPNU. Monday night at 7. Number 6 North Carolina takes on Nicholls State. At 9, it's a rematch of the 2009 Elite 8 showdown between Davidson and number 12 Kansas. On Tuesday, 2 of the remaining undefeated play. Starting at 7 Eastern, Bucknell takes on number 1 Syracuse. At 9 o'clock, College of Charleston takes on number 4 Louisville. All part of Holiday Hoops presented by Cleveland Jewelers. Holiday time for football. FCS level means playoff time, and North Dakota State trying to get to their first national championship game since moving to the FCS ranks. Jensen put some air under it, and the intended receiver was Holloway again. And once again, LaRon Scott step for step in coverage.
This is a good matchup on the outside, and these two guys very competitive on the outside. Watch the hand fighting inside. Little shove by Scott. and he can't get that inside arm. It looked like he had a good job on that right arm from Warren Holloway. Scott getting a little redemption, little hand in there, couldn't get the right arm up there to extend and fight for that football. That's just good infighting by Scott, the defensive back.
So Matt Voigtlander, the senior from Minnesota, on the punts. Robinson back standing at the 10-yard line. This is the third punt now for the Bison. It's a short one by design, and Robinson with a fair catch at the 16-yard line. A 23-yard punt by Voigtlander. But the 16 beats the 20, right? As far as field
That's
position.
right.
Fargo Dome. Another sold-out crowd, and their team, the Bison, on top by 7. And back in Fargo, North Dakota, there's the Fargo Dome, and they use this building in so many ways. I mean, it's amazing. Fans packing in for the football games naturally. Holds 18,000 plus, but over a 3-day period, for instance, they have corporate conferences, and they can tear that down and hit the switch, and all of a sudden you're at a rock concert inside the Fargo Dome. Good place to be when it's really cold outside, too. It's a good hot rock concert.
You didn't get any tickets for this, Cleve.
And then you break that down, and all of a sudden you're playing football again for the Bison.
But we got a good seat for this one.
Excellent seat, excellent crowd, and all of a sudden they bring that down, and another conference set up, and the cycle continues. You talk about the decibel levels inside this building, and the opposition having a hard time. 110. That's getting up there. I can see why the opposition has a hard time listening to the quarterback bark out the signals.
And it's most of the time when Georgia Southern has the football on offense. This crowd gets off their feet, out of the chairs, and they're up and standing and cheering their Bison defense on.
Last drive for the Eagles, 12 plays, 42 yards, using up 6 minutes and 33 seconds. Here's the pitch, and Swope has nowhere to go. That's going to be a loss on the play. A lot of gold jerseys up there. And Preston Evans and Chad Wilson, the two linebackers, leading the way. Very active linebacking core here.
Very active and very aggressive. You could feel and hear those hits up here, Mike, and that's a great job by Preston Evans and Chad Wilson, getting lateral, getting sideline to sideline, and really having nowhere for that triple option to the short side of the field to go. That's just an excellent job. They've been fitting their roles on defense perfectly through a quarter and a half of football. They've done a nice job of preventing the big play.
Linebackers 1, 2, 3 in tackles. The Swope puts his head down. Forward progress will bring this up to about the 23, a gain of 6. So getting back to that linebacking core, Wilson with 81 tackles, Evans with 73, and Beck with 65.
Well, Georgia Southern has not been able to run the football like they have throughout the season. Only 29 yards today. And you can see this, the season average well over 300 yards. That's second in the FCS. So the Bison have done a nice job creating some noise in this dome, and this defense has been very productive against the triple option.
Need 4 for the first down. Swope. He's going to be close. I think if he would have broke to the outside, he would have had the first down, but they're going to move the chains regardless. So another first down for Georgia Southern. We mentioned that last drive over 6 minutes, John, against Maine. They held the football for 43 minutes in that game.
And Mike, this is the first time that Georgia Southern's been able to convert on third down. They were 0 for 4 going into that opportunity. So now you're thinking maybe a big play is on the horizon for the Eagles in this triple option offense.
Full backfield this time, but Swope gets the call. He's up to about the 32. The NCAA Division I Football Championship concludes in Frisco, Texas, January 7th, 1 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN2. The FCS champion will be crowned. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. The winner of our game plays number 1, Sam Houston State. Won a ball game last night. It was 31-14 going into the 4th. Sam Houston State almost lost that game. Montana
did an excellent job of getting back in that football game. I thought it was over early, but they did a great job of extending that in the 4th quarter.
Second and 7. Again, they go with the true freshman Swope. So getting back to that Sam Houston State, they are the number 1 seed. Big game from Tim Flanders, 287 yards rushing and a touchdown. Brian Bell threw 2 touchdown passes, ran for another. But again, it was 31-14. The final numbers there, 31-28. Sam Houston State out of the Southland Conference, and they're in the championship for the first time in their school history.
And Johnson did a nice job for Montana keeping them in that football game. But every time you looked, it seemed like Sam Houston State was coming up with a big play.
Third down and 5. This time under center. Shaw goes upstairs and almost completed at the 40-yard line. And the intended receiver again was Wilcox. Grant Olson putting on some pressure. But even with the pressure, he laid it up nicely.
Yeah, that ball was catchable. It was pretty close, but Grant Olson did an excellent job of pressuring Jabo Shaw in the pocket. There you see him right there. He had no chance to step into that throw and make it a little bit more accurate. Shaw did a good job of hanging in the pocket, but that's a tough job. That's your job as a quarterback, to stand tall and throw it accurate even with pressure in your face. That was just a better job by Olson on that play.
Shaw, the transfer from Georgia Tech, and in case you're wondering, yes, Connor Shaw from South Carolina. Here's a fake. And that's going to be a first down as Jonathan Bryant came out of nowhere. If you're the North Dakota State defense anyway, picks up 13 on the play.
Just a great job. Watch this. This is going to be an end around here on the fake punt. Just a good job of everybody in a white jersey walling off the Bison to the field side, to the short side, and plenty of running room to the field side for Georgia Southern. They needed to make a dynamic play somehow, some way, and they finally do it on special teams to keep their offense on the field.
Only the 26th carry for Bryant this year, but he comes in averaging just under 9 yards a carry. So again, you go back to that triple option. You don't know who's going to get it or where he's going to get it. Boyer makes the stop, and 3-yard gain for the Eagles.
Well, now it's sudden change time if you're a Bison defender. You have to come back on the field. You thought you did your job. You're on the sidelines in a punting situation. Now the defense gets put back on that football field. How do they respond? Can they turn the football over? Can they keep Georgia Southern out of the end zone on this drive?
Shaw, swope, outside, puts that shoulder down. Had to get to the 44-yard line for the first down. They're going to spot it just shy of that. They pick up 6 on the play. So it'll be 3rd and short for the Eagles.
Very difficult to defend this triple option when you extend to the field. You need speed. You need to be able to tackle in space. And that's what Dominic Swope was trying to do. Get outside, use his speed for his head coach, Jeff Monken, and try to get in 3rd and short situations. And that's what they're in right now in 3rd and 1.
Again, first guy, but this time it's Robinson. And Robinson stayed on his feet all the way down inside the 35-yard line. He picks up 11 on the play. Preston Evans and Coulter Boyer, 2 seniors, finally bring him down.
Robinson showing his toughness in between the tackles, Mike. Looked like he was going to get held for a short gain. He was contacted behind the line of scrimmage, but he breaks 2-3 arm tackles, and he gets down the football field inside the 35-yard line. So tough inside the tackle running that time by Darian Robinson.
Patrick Barker split wide to the top of your screen. 11th play on the drive now for the Eagles. Jabo Shaw tucks it up. He's inside the 30-yard line down to the 29. So the Eagles now are on the move, looking to tie this thing up at 7-7, a gain of 5 on the play. Ricky Hagan, one of the backups, making the stop defensively for North Dakota State.
Mike, against this triple option, defensively, it's so important. You have to be able to stay on your feet. You're going to get a lot of cut blocks, a lot of angle blocks. You have to stay on your feet. And if you don't, you're going to get long, sustained drives, and that's what Georgia Southern's doing right now. 11 plays, 55 yards, 6 different ball carriers have touched the football for the Eagles. You have to trust your eyes and stay upright.
Robinson again inside the 25, down to about the 22-yard line. John Pike coming up from the safety spot to make the stop. So again, John, we go back to the fact that they've had 15 guys carry the football this year. The top 8 have combined for 658 carries. That's amazing.
It is amazing, and everybody has a smile on your face if you're in that huddle, because you have a chance to get the football on every play.
Ventrella Showers now, top of your screen. Swope breaks 3. Swope 5, touchdown. And Dominique Swope, the true freshman, that's his 7th rushing touchdown. This one covers 23 yards.
We talked about Dominique in the open, how he's a tough runner in between the tackles, and he hits the hole with quickness and authority, and that's exactly what happened. Good blocking at the point of attack, but better running. He fights through the arm tackle of Justin, it looked like Jokum, in the middle of that football field, and a great job by Swope of breaking that arm tackle around the 20-yard line and getting into the end zone. That's just tough running in between the tackles.
And the extra points by Adrian Mora is good. And so we mentioned the 43-minute time of possession against Maine. Well, now the Eagles go 83 and just 13.
The time of possession was on their side. They get a fake punt opportunity to keep the Eagles on the field. Swope goes in and ties it at 7.
All right, thanks a lot, Dari. Two teams here averaging over 30 points a game. I guess it's true. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships, because now we're locked up at 7-7 with inside 4 minutes to go.
Well, Swope did a great job. 13 plays on 83 yards. taking almost 7 minutes off the clock. The 23-yard touchdown run, tough inside running to tie this game up, and the triple option showing, wearing on that defense for the Bison in that drive. But the key play was the fake punt to keep that Georgia Southern offense on the football field, keep the momentum on the Eagles sideline, and they were able to finish with that 23-yard touchdown run.
There's a deep man as Greer gets ready to kick off again. So Georgia Southern's gone for it twice on 4th down. Take the punt.
And they haven't been spectacular on 3rd down today either, Mike.
So really they've gone for it, I guess, 3 times on 4th down, you could say. Greer's kick, but Norton watches it go out of bounds, and there's the penalty flag coming down. It's a decent field position now coming up now for North Dakota State. So Georgia Southern, they like to eat clock, and they ate almost 7 minutes on the drive.
Well, they did such a nice job of winning the battle, but that was the key play. The fake punt really gave them the momentum to get their offense back on the football field. You see Jay Beauchamp doing a nice job getting the football out to his playmaker. Swope goes on the option to the outside. Robinson in between the tackles, breaking arm tackles to move the chains, and then the 23-yarder right down the middle, breaking the first contact around the line of scrimmage, and then using his speed to get into the end zone and tie this game up for head coach Jeff Monken.
We're watching Swope score that touchdown, John. We watched a lot of tape yesterday of Georgia Southern. It's hard to believe. I had to look at my board 2 or 3 times. He's a true freshman. He doesn't run like a true freshman.
No, he doesn't. He's very downhill, north and south. He's a one-cut runner, and he fits perfectly into what Georgia Southern is trying to do with this triple option. There's no hesitation. He's going to hit that hole with authority, and most times, Mike, he comes out the other side.
In the open field, he looks like a fullback, but when he gets that ball, he hits that hole, he looks like a tailback.
That's true. In the open field, he's not going to run away from you, but you saw that extra gear. He tried to get to it on that 23-yard touchdown run.
Inside 4 minutes now before halftime. North Dakota State's #1 in scoring defense in the country on the FCS level, getting up 13.7 on the year, now fighting to snap this tie. And the end around, that's a Cooper Walu, sophomore from Woodbury, Minnesota. A gain of 9 on the play. Tonight, ESPN U.S. college basketball triple-header at 6. It's Appalachian State against North Carolina. At 8, Houston Cougars taking on the Sooners of Oklahoma in the Ramada All-College Classic. And at 10 o'clock, it's number 21 Alabama against Kansas State. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers tonight. ESPNU, ESPN3. Also streaming live on ESPN.com and Watch ESPN app. Picked up 9 on the play, so it's 2nd and 1 now for the Bison. Jury gets the call, no running room, but he has gone over 1,000 yards here in the first half. That's the 9th straight season they've had a running back reach 1,000 yards, and of course DJ McNorton's not far behind.
No, they've had a 1-2 punch with McNorton and O'Jury, and on 2nd and short, Mike, that was a good job by the defensive front of Georgia Southern. We talked about Brent Russell in the beginning, but Darius Eubanks did an excellent job. He's probably having the best year of all those linebackers for the Eagles. They have to try to come up big again on 3rd and very short.
One for 4 on 3rd. DJ McNorton adds that 2nd conversion as they move the chains. McNorton picks up 5. 2:44 to go now.
Anytime you make a big play like that on a 3rd and short situation, you bust through for 5 yards. You want to come back and maybe go play action. You may want to test the waters down the football field and trust your quarterback, Brock Jensen, to make a big play on the outside. Look for Warren Holloway down the football field.
So Jensen 6 of 9, 89 yards and a touchdown so far, and again hitting 68%. He's got twin receivers to the top of your screen. And he wants to use them. He fires. This one's complete. Here goes Holloway inside the 20-yard line. Eubanks finally brings him down. Warren Holloway, the senior from Texas. They call him Big Tex. He likes to call himself the old car. Get the old car revved up, and it was revved up on that play.
He can call him anything you want right now because run after catch. This is good timing by Brock Jensen because a white flash right in front of the football. Look looked like Lavelle Westbrook's just missed that interception, but run after catch capability, that's what the big guy has on the outside. Warren Holloway knows what to do with the football, and now he has the Bison inside the red zone.
Bison go 29 on the Holloway reception. There's a reverse. It's Holloway. Big Tex has some running room. Inside the 5. Touchdown. Well, John, the old car is revved up. That's his second touchdown as the Bison takes the lead with 1:38 to go before halftime.
Well, that's just a great job and a great play call on the outside. Brett Vigan, the offensive coordinator, does a great job of getting it outside. He wants to go on the counter, and then it tosses it to Holloway. Watch the quarterback on the outside. Brock Jensen gets involved, gets a little chip, and allows Warren Holloway to slip into the end zone.
Ryan Jastrom throws his second PAT through the uprights. And the Bison go 60 in just 5 plays.
Great job of answering a score with one of their own, and that gets the crowd excited for this offense. A good job of getting on the counter play, but then sealing everybody off. Just a nice job of turning everybody back. Center Joe Lund, he started the blocking, and then the quarterback gets involved. Brock Jensen on the outside. But this offensive line did a nice job of selling the counter and then sealing everybody in a white jersey to the football field. Brock Jensen gets that key block on the outside on Darius Eubanks. Just on the top of your screen, number 16 in the green and gold does a great job of getting that cut block on the outside and allows Holloway to get into the end zone and take the lead 14-7.
14 of 15 career touchdowns now. That was his first career rush for the senior. You had mentioned Brent Vigen, the offensive coordinator. He was saying that the second quarter has been huge for this team. Outscoring the opposition 159 of 58 to open up some breathing room. And that touchdown right there is huge with just 1:38 to go.
Well, it gets the momentum back on the Bison sideline and gets this crowd another opportunity to get on their feet, because the defense are going to have to come out and keep Georgia Southern down by 7 going into halftime. So this is an excitable building once it gets going in the Bison's direction. And right now they have that touchdown lead.
Jastrom's kick taken by Scott of the 5. Ron Scott over the 25. And he's wrestled down at about the 29. A 24-yard return. Well, the NCAA and the ESPN are pleased to announce a new 13-year extension of their agreement that goes through the 2023-2024 academic season. ESPN has been granted exclusive and worldwide rights to 24 NCAA championships, continuing the coverage of the Women's Division I Basketball Championship, the Frozen Four, Men's and Women's College World Series. 600-plus hours of championship coverage each year. Will also include expanded programming on ESPNU and ESPN3. Swope in the backfield along with Jabo Shaw, as Swope gets the call. Little misdirection up to the 32. And you saw number 34, Grant Olson. He's a backup, but he's been in a lot of plays already.
He really has. He's done a nice job of filling the hole. He came into the game with 34 total tackles. Now Georgia Southern's going to move up a little bit faster. Remember, the Bison wasted a couple timeouts early in this game, so this clock will continue to run with 109 and counting.
Shaw completes it up over the 40-yard line. And Zach Walker, the true freshman from Wrightsville, Georgia. Colton Hegel makes the stop, but they pick up 12.
And Mike, for all the talk of this triple option, Jabo Shaw does a nice job of throwing the football. He has 10 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. And his head coach, Jeff Monken, said this is the best he's thrown it all year.
Shaw completes it again, and again it's the freshman Zach Walker. As a matter of fact, 116 attempts, John, all season long, but yet they rank number 1 in the country in passing efficiency at 171.9.
Well, they run it so effectively in the triple option. You get a lot of man-to-man coverage down the field. Now you're getting some zone from the Bison, but Jabo Shaw is doing a nice job of directing this 2-minute offense.
Well, he's got twins at the top of your screen. Heavy pressure. He eludes the rush and runs out of bounds close to the 30-yard line, pushed out by Coulter Boyer. Or Boyer was putting on the pressure, rather.
He gets a run of 11 on the scramble, so that's a nice job by Shaw. Now remember, the Eagles have all 3 timeouts remaining, only 24 seconds before halftime, so plenty of time to get in a field goal opportunity situation, or plenty of time to take a couple shots in the end zone.
Adrian Morrow, 12 of 14 with a long of 49 as far as kicking field goals. Shaw takes off and he gets inside the 25-yard line. Justin Juckham, the sophomore, making the stop. A gain of 7 for the Eagles with 18 seconds left on the clock.
That's a nice call that time by head coach Jeff Monken, because you have plenty of time. You can afford to run that quarterback draw, one of your best runners on the football team, and still waste a timeout with 18 seconds left to go.
18 seconds to go. Georgia Southern leading the Southern Conference with 37 points a game, trailing in the ball game 14-7. So again, we go back to that passing game. Coming in, the average 334 yards rushing, and that's not even number 1 in their conference. Wofford averages more. But look at this, John. You talked about that one-on-one coverage outside. He averages 9 passes a game. And look at those averages. That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty gaudy on the outside for Georgia Southern. Every time you're catching the football, you know, what's wrong with Zach Walker? He can't get into the 20s? I don't know what's going on. You know, 19.5. This is just a great job of being efficient when you have to throw the football.
Well, Walker caught the last 2 passes for the Eagles. He's at the bottom of your screen, the true freshman, and again, Shaw working with twins at the top. To set up that field goal, 15 seconds to go, as Cole Jurek, the sophomore, was in on Swope in a hurry.
Well, I like the quarterback draw call, but on that one, I'm not so sure. They're just trying to get some yardage, chunk yardage up the middle. I would have rather have seen Jay Boshog either roll or go, have a two-way go to run or throw the football, because if you're going to waste a timeout down the middle, you may be able to get on the perimeter with your offense.
And you talk about the yards per catch and some of those astronomical numbers. Like Jonathan Bryant, we saw him on the fake punt. 29.7 yards per catch, 25.2 receptions yards per game. And you almost got to scratch your head and let that digest for a minute. You're looking at that like, how can that be?
Yeah, in this situation, I think you have to trust your quarterback, Jay Beauchamp, to put it up one more time and either run pass situation. You've got that wide side of the football field you can take a look at. You can roll him and drift him to the wide side and give him that run pass option. But if you're just going to try to settle for a field goal with 15 seconds left, I'm not so sure.
Shaw fires this time, almost picked off. We talk about that linebacking core. That's Travis Beck, a redshirt freshman from Munich, North Dakota, in trouble showers with the intended receiver.
Good break on the football by Travis Beck, and that's what Shaw wanted to do. He wanted to roll the wide side. He may have gotten 5 or 6 more yards to make this field goal opportunity a little bit easier, but right now it's going to be a 41-yarder.
He's 2 for 3 on the year from this distance. His long of 49. Timeout is called with 10 seconds to go. And North Dakota State just used up their 3rd timeout, their final timeout, trying to ice the kicker.
Well, maybe you can ice him outside, but inside it's pretty comfortable right now.
Well, Capital One Bowl week continuing 2 games tonight on ESPN, starting at 5:30. Utah State taking on the Bobcats of Ohio in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. At 9 Eastern, Ronnie Hillman and San Diego State goes up against Louisiana Lafayette, making their first bowl appearance in 41 years. Capital One Bowl week tonight on ESPN, ESPN Radio, ESPN3, and also streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. It's been a good half. The 2 teams averaging over 30 points a game, 14-7. And like you said earlier, North Dakota State not facing a triple option all season. They have to feel pretty good about themselves.
They really do, and really it's a story of one turnover that set the table for North Dakota State to get that first score in the football game.
Mora, 57 career field goals. That's number 1 all time at Georgia Southern. Looking for number 58, which would cut the deficit to 4. There's another fake. And is it going to work? In the back of the end zone. Oh! He was wide open in the back of the end zone.
Charlie Edwards, the holder, he avoided the pressure, and if he could have thrown it maybe 2 more yards, he may have had a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone, Mike.
Well, John Douglas, the defensive end, was wide open. The ball just didn't get there in time. So it's been a very entertaining half. 14-7, the home team, North Dakota State, heads for the locker room with the lead. Your thoughts so far in the first 30 minutes of this football game?
Well, it's been exciting so far. There you've had some trickeration. You've had some special teams on a fake punt, a fake field goal by Georgia Southern. He almost was able to come up with this big play to end the half, but a better play by the defense and special teams for the Bison to keep a 7-point lead.
Number 35, Christian Dudzik, the redshirt freshman, had to hold his breath. The defensive back got down there to bat it away. Fake punts going for it on 4th down. Big fumble recovery, and Swope gets a touchdown. Our score, it's 14-7 now. Let's join Dari Noka back in the studio.
All right. Thank you much. 14-7, Craig Bowles, North Dakota State team leading at the half. We'll get you back out to the Fargo Dome for the second half in just a bit. With that, we welcome you in. I am Dari Noka, taking you through halftime. No shortage of highlights to show you, including those of a Division II national championship game today. Pittsburgh State and Wayne State hooking up in Florence, Alabama. Now, Wayne State, what a story. They were ranked 34th in the country in the final D2 coaches poll. But look at Tony Davis, who ran for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 9 touchdowns in the playoffs. And then field goal attempt blocked by Paul Robinson. Aries Harrion goes 80 yards for the Gorillas. What a nickname. Pitt State, by the way, in their 17th tournament appearance. The tournament also called playoffs. It is Division II football. 20-14 Pitt State, and Zach Dickey. 53 yards to Andrew Castaneda down to the 5. Pitt State driving, and on the Gorillas' next play, it's Will Spradling in. They win their first title game since 1991. Pittsburgh State, Division II national champion. Straight ahead, Jared Sullinger, Ohio State's workhorse on the inside, left today's game against South Carolina, a foot injury. He'll tell you how bad it is. Dorinoka with you at the half. College hoops, Ohio State, number 2, taking on South Carolina. Now, Jared Sullinger, he missed a game this season. That was their only loss at Kansas. Sullinger inside, 2+1 flex. And he does. Sullinger's day, though, well, it was short. He played 6 minutes, scored just the 3 points. He needs to come out. Seems like he got hurt on the play where he posted up, left the game. Uh-oh, and that's bad news. To the locker room. It appears to be a left foot contusion. That's x-rays negative. That's good news. Meanwhile, his team continued on without him. South Carolina actually led this thing at the half, but William Buford and then Deshaun Thomas, who had 30 points, did Thomas. Oh, 3 there for Buford. Buckeyes go on to win it. 74-66. And after the game, Jared Sullinger tweeted the following. Just a freak accident. Great win for us, though. Our first road win. FYI, I will be fine, people. Back at it tomorrow. That is what Buckeye fans would like to hear. Their team gets a win in Columbia. How about 16th ranked Mississippi State taking on Detroit? Brian Bryant. Mississippi State up cruising now at 15. And then Eli Homan for Detroit. Cutting the lead down to 6. Now look at this. 75 all. Rod Hood knocks in the jumper. Mississippi State goes back up 2. Rodney Hood just 8 points on the day, and now Arnett and Moultrie with a block inside. Bulldogs win. It was tough, though, 80-75. They were 11-1. That home loss to Akron, all that has them from being undefeated. Scott Drew and Baylor taking on BYU Marriott Center. You're talking well over 20,000 in attendance. It is loud. It is a tough place to play. And Brandon Davies, well, he's a big reason why. BYU, though, down early. Matt Carlino for 3. Cougars go up by 8 after that 3. And then 1-point game. Perry Jones III. He has 26 for Baylor. This is a tight one right now, a 1-point Baylor lead late. We will keep you posted on what's going on in Provo. Billy Donovan in Florida taking on Texas A&M. Bradley Beal. They love this young man. Freshman Gators up 4-0 in the early going. Beal physical to the hoop. Texas A&M comes in 8-1, but boy, you wouldn't know it. Kenny Boynton for 3. Gators up 16-2, and then Kenny Boynton for 3 more. Boynton has hit 4 of his 7 threes. He has 14. That's a game high. Look at the score. Oh, man. Gig 'em or not. Down 25 at halftime. Look on the ESPNU coming up Monday and Tuesday. You get North Carolina. You also get Kansas against an always pesky Davidson team. And then on Tuesday, your number 1 team in the land, Syracuse, taking on Bucknell. And then Louisville takes on a pretty good team there, the College of Charleston. We are going to update Baylor and BYU as they are closing this thing out in Provo. We'll update that in just a moment right here on SportsCenter U. Also, oh my goodness, what on earth is that? That is a Cowboy you want no part of. What about the football team? Temple, Wyoming. Bowl season is underway in New Mexico. And North Dakota State up 14-7 at the half right now in your second FCS National Semifinal. Back in moments. Dari Nokup back with you. Let's update Baylor BYU as promised. This one a great game in Provo. Perry Jones on the putback. Baylor goes up by 3 at that point. Last chance for the home team, the Cougars. Ball ends up in the hands of Matt Carlino, who cannot hit the 3. Baylor goes on to win at 86-83. They are 9-0 for the first time since 2000-2001. Meanwhile, BYU has lost their last 4 against ranked teams. Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. Ride 'em Cowboy. Wyoming taking on Temple. Chris Coyer to Evan Rodriguez. That's a 40-yard play for the Owls. Coyer 5 of 7 for 128 yards in the early going. That's Bernard Pierce with a 1-yard touchdown run. 26 touchdowns on the season for him. 7-zip Owls. And then Brett Smith picked off by Kier Smith. And Kier Smith with one of 2 interceptions thrown by Brett Smith. 1st and 10 for the Owls. That ends up leading eventually after a Temple touchdown is called back. Matt Brown does get in. And it's a 28-7 Temple lead right now. All right, let's get you back to talking about the national championship game forthcoming, LSU and Alabama. It is, of course, a rematch, and you can look inside the numbers and see what happened the first time these teams met, November 5th, when it was a 9-6 LSU win in Tuscaloosa. Tom Luganville leading our film room session, talking about that phenomenal Alabama defense.
We're in the film room getting ready for the BCS national title. Over there, you got Dan Hawkins, former Colorado and Boise State head coach, Mike Bellotti, former Oregon head coach, and Randy Shannon, former head coach at the University of Miami. I'm Tom Luganville, and we're starting to dissect the Alabama defense, some of the substitutions, some of the looks that they're going to give in personnel.
Well, when you take a look at Alabama on third down situations, they're going to bring in 3 D linemen, 2 linebackers, and 6 DBs. The key to this whole deal is get the protections, what LSU is trying to get done. And in explaining the protections, you have to running back on the linebacker, the guard, tackles on end, these 2 guys, guard center on the nose guard and middle linebacker. And now you fanned out he's responsible for him, he's responsible for the next guy. And the whole premise is you don't want to get sacks, but you want to get pressure and interception. It's going to be a look that you bring in 4 weak or 4 strong, but you're playing coverage behind it.
And you're going to see some games here with Dante Hightower and the nose tackle twisting a little bit, and your linebacker right here coming up, creating some pressure and some confusion.
And like you said, 4 weak and 4 strong, but they playing coverage makes it look like it's an all-out blitz one way.
And Alabama feels awfully comfortable when they've got multiple DBs in the game because they know they can cover, they know they can match up, guys.
Hey, when it gets to be 3rd and 9, Coach, the bone goes through the nose, smoke starts rising, and funky music starts playing, and it's not good for the offense. But they're playing dime. They've got 6 DBs in the game. They're going to pressure with Hightower and end up playing cover 2. And like Coach said, in this instance here, the back block, so he's going to go ahead and add. Now, the X factor is, who covers that guy? But we've got speed in the box there to help cover that.
The illusion of pressure always forces the quarterback to want to throw the ball up to, but you've got 2 deep looks that aren't affected by any of this. Whether they play man underneath or zone underneath, you got 2 safeties sitting back there. So you cannot be ill-advised in terms of throwing that football. You're better off taking it. But hit this guy coming, Dante Hightower coming and wrapping around that nose guard or whatever. That's the illusion of pressure that I think flustered the quarterback maybe more than anything else.
Yeah, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. You get 4 rushers on a side, which is a blitz look, but he's still good in coverage.
But that's an add-on blitz. He wouldn't have come. Had that guy released, he'd be out. But he came on because of the add-on opportunity.
So Alabama, this time around, they're going to face Jordan Jefferson for a full 4 quarters. That number 4 right there, Mark Barron, might be pretty important to key in number 9, Jordan Jefferson, this matchup this time around.
All right, that, of course, the biggest of the 35 bowl games. More bowl games, though, underway today, including one in Boise, Idaho, where Ohio takes on Utah State. And then we send you out to the New Orleans Bowl for San Diego State and Louisiana Lafayette. Georgia Southern trying to work that triple option into a national title game appearance at the FCS level. But right now they trail it 14-7 despite Dominique Swope's touchdown run. Back with you. What a game in Indianapolis. Butler at Conseco Fieldhouse taking on Purdue. Tie game. Bulldogs. Andrew Smith to put back Butler up 2. This is a team that came in 4-6. Following up back-to-back national title game appearances. Purdue. Kelsey Barlow cannot hit, and Butler gets the win in front of perhaps more home fans than Purdue, though it could be a toss-up. Meanwhile, Warren Holloway, 17 yards and a touchdown. North Dakota State, 30 minutes of football from going to a title game. Second half next from Fargo.
And back inside the Fargo Dome, it's halftime. 14-7, that's our score right now as North Dakota State sits on top by a touchdown over Georgia Southern, along with John Congemi, Mike Gleason here. Georgia Southern, they punted once for 45 yards, but apparently Jeff Monken says we're going to pull out all stops. We've seen fakes on fourth down. Would you have taken the points at the end of the first half?
Absolutely. In a game like this that's been decided by one turnover so far, I think Moore has had a long of 49 on the season for Georgia Southern. That would have been a 41-yarder. I think I would roll the dice on the field goal.
You said at the top of the broadcast a turnover could be the difference in the ballgame, and right now it's 14-7, but without a fumble it might be tied at 7-7 right now.
Well, Chad Wilson comes up with that big turnover in the first quarter for the Bison. They get instant field position, and then they cash in with a 19-yard touchdown from Brock Jensen, the quarterback, to Warren Holloway, and that's really been the difference in this football game, Mike.
So North Dakota State up by a touchdown. The last team from the Missouri Valley Conference to reach the finals, Northern Iowa, back in 2005. LaRon Scott at the 10 as Georgia Southern will open up the second half on offense. He's up over the 30, dropped shy of the 35-yard line. Coming up to make the tackle was Derek Lang for North Dakota State. 27-yard return as we look at the numbers, John, after the first 30 minutes.
Well, Georgia Southern hasn't been able to run the football with any consistency or like they would have. They're over 100 yards, but they've done a nice job in really eliminating North Dakota State in rushing the football. Only 68 yards, and it's been one turnover so far. That's been the difference in this game. 7 points off of the forced fumble that was deep into the red zone. And the Bison took advantage with that touchdown pass early in this game.
And the player down is number 34. That is LaRon Scott. He is the return man. So let's go back and take a look at the first half highlights here from the Fargo Dome.
We talked about that turnover, the forced fumble and recovery by Chad Wilson. It sets up the Bison in perfect field position. Two-play drive, 19-yard touchdown pass from Jensen to Warren Holloway. You can see the excitement in the offense. And then the fake punt. This was a key play in this football game. Jonathan Bryant goes 13 yards on fourth down. He's able to move the chains, and that led to a big play up the middle by Swoop, a 23-yard touchdown run, 13 yards and 13 plays, 83 yards. Then the reverse from Warren Holloway, the 17-yarder. He gets that key block by his quarterback, Brock Jensen, to get him into the end zone and take that 7-point lead to halftime.
And John Swope has 64 rushing yards in the first half. The true freshman now 991 on the season, so 9 shy of 1,000 yards in his inaugural collegiate season. J.J. Wilcox driven out of bounds, and the crowd loves that. Colton Hegel, a sophomore with the cast on his left hand, again leading the tackle parade.
Colton's the guy on defense. He's the key to the defense, says his defensive coordinator, Scotty Hazelton. Hegel needs to tackle in space. He needs to come up and fill those gaps on this triple option. He's had a heck of a first half, and he's starting off hot again in this third quarter.
Got back to the line of scrimmage on the last play, so it's 2nd and 10. Swope again, and Swope up over the 45 to about the 49 before Hegel again makes the tackle. A gain of 15, so Swope, the true freshman, now over 1,000 yards in his inaugural collegiate season.
Swope is hard to find in the middle of that football field. He's always moving. He's behind the blockers. He's there. He's jump cutting in the hole. Does a great job of moving the chains. That time, Mike, as you said, a 15-yarder. And Georgia Southern's had great success between the tackles running the football.
Swope 15 carries now for 79 yards. Penalty flags all over the place. Nico Hickey looked like he started in motion.
Full start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. First down.
All right, John, let's take a look now at the Home Depot coaching adjustments.
Well, I think that Jeff Monken from Georgia Southern, he's done a nice job of adjusting to his running game in the triple option. They haven't had a lot of success outside, and that's because Colton Hegel's put a stop to it. On the edge, usually they have a lot of success using their speed, but he's adjusted by going up the middle with Darian Robinson, and we've seen Swope get a big play up the middle for 15 yards there in the first half. He went 23 yards for a touchdown. That's where they're making their bread and butter, up the middle of the football field.
Swope again tries to slide through that defensive front, gets up to about the 48. Wilson and Beck, the two linebackers in on the stop. He picks up 4 more. Couple yards shy of the midfield stripe. Georgia Southern had won the toss to start the game. They deferred, so North Dakota State took the football. And now Jeff Monken would love to see one of those long, sustained drives. Their longest drive of the season, 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Shaw comes back the other way, and it's... well, he had it, and he dropped it. That's Kentrella Showers. A redshirt freshman from Dublin, Georgia. He had a couple of catches. Now, that's the 11th pass attempt already for Georgia Southern in this ballgame. And coming in, Shaw averages about 9, but let's keep in mind that Charlie Edwards, the punter, tried 2 in the first half.
And it puts Georgia Southern in an awkward situation again. 3rd and 11. This isn't a good situation for a triple option team. They haven't been able to convert on 3rd downs consistently, only 2 of 8 today.
You saw that decibel meter in the stands, over 110. That's what Shaw is dealing with here. Shaw comes back the other way. Showers has the football inside the 40-yard line. That's going to be a first down for the Eagles. John Pike makes the stop, but not before they pick up 14.
Mike, that's an excellent play by Jabo Shaw. The patience, the composure to move himself outside of the pocket. He gave the double threat with his legs. He finds a way to let Showers get inside the linebackers and get some room in that zone defense. That's just a beautiful conversion for a running team to convert on 3rd and long. That's a great job by Shaw.
It's a 3rd catch by Showers, and Swope gets down inside the 35-yard line. Look at this Georgia Southern football team. You know, since 1982, to give you some feel of the success of this program, since '82, Georgia Southern, they're 3rd only to Notre Dame and Michigan as far as winning percentage. They've won over 72% of their games, and that man right there, Jeff Monken, just in his 2nd season, he's 21-7.
Well, Jeff just telling his quarterback, Jabo Shaw, he doesn't want to hear about not being able to get outside. He wants him outside of that end and make a threat on the perimeter.
There's Shaw, nowhere to go. He was nailed by Hegel. And Shaw felt that hit. He got up a little bit slower than usual.
We talked about one of the keys to this game on defense would be number 20, Colton Hegel. He's done an excellent job of energizing this crowd. He's been able to tackle in space, even with that broken thumb. He has a cast on that hand. He started 7 games last year as a true freshman. He missed the last 2 games, but has been able to come out with big play after big play on defense to keep Georgia Southern in 3rd and long situations.
You think he likes playing football?
I think he does.
Well, Jabo Shaw didn't like what he saw. Calls the timeout on a 3rd and 6 with 11:12 to go. So the Eagles will have 2 timeouts remaining here in the 2nd half.
And that timeout may be a direct result of that big hit. We saw Shaw come up a little woozy on that 2nd down and probably trying to take some time to compose himself.
So we're going to take a timeout now here in the 3rd quarter. It's still 14-7. The home team, the Bison of North Dakota State, on top. The NCAA Division I College Football Championship brought to you by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. It's the Plains Art Museum here in Fargo, a permanent collection containing approximately 3,000 works, including national and regional contemporary art, traditional American Indian art, and traditional folk art here in Fargo. 3rd and 6. As Jabo Shaw deals with the noise, that decibel level here inside the Fargo Dome. Eighth play of the drive for the Eagles. Shaw lays it up. Wilcox has it, and Wilcox fumbled the football. That's a live football that's picked up. By number 52, Travis Beck, the linebacker. And John, you talk about turnovers. The first one was huge. That one might even be bigger.
We talked about at the beginning of the game, turnovers would play a huge role in this football game. Travis Beck comes up with it. It looked like this was going to be a touchdown. Jabo Shaw just lays the football out on the outside, and it looked like Wilcox was going to take it into the end zone. Let's see if he had possession of this football. Looks like he makes a football move there, 2 steps. He had possession of the football, and then a great strip from behind by John Pike. This is an awesome catch down the middle of the football field. It looks like he has possession there. Doesn't look like the ball's moving around, and then an excellent strip of the football by John Pike. That's the second turnover in the red zone that this Bison defense has been able to come up with.
And this Bison defense now plus 17 on the year. They keep it on the ground as DJ McNorton, the senior from Channelview, Texas, gets the call. Rowe and Westbrooks making the stop defensively for the Eagles. Eagles coming in 11-2, winners of the Southern Conference Championship, again losing to Appalachian State. Top of the broadcast, I mentioned that was payback because last year Appalachian State had a 26-game winning streak. They snapped it. And, of course, their second loss came to the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Sam Ojuri now, the sophomore from Lake in the Hills, Illinois, back in the backfield along with Jensen. Design play, quarterback draw, and he picks up plenty of yards for first down up over the 20-yard line. Stanley and Eubanks make the stop, a gain of 13.
And on the sidelines, Jeff Monken trying to get his offense on the same page and trying to keep those spirits up, because right now only down 1 touchdown, 7 points, but 2 turnovers have been really the deciding factor in this football game, giving the momentum back to the Bison. So he's trying to do his job. When that defense is on the field, they have to get the football back for the offense, but they have to cash in when they get down to the red zone.
Penalty flag before the snap, and this will go against the Bison.
False start, offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty, first down.
5 penalties now for 35 yards. We mentioned they come in averaging about 5.5 for 49 yards a game.
And Mike, remember, this is an offense that really in real time, they haven't been on the football field for close to 50 minutes with an extended halftime and that long drive by Georgia Southern. So this is a team that has to get back into this football game in a hurry.
So it's 1st and 15. They'll work out of the I formation. Ojuri, that's Smith in motion. Ojuri. Nice defensive play, but he bounced off the would-be tackle up close to the 25-yard line. But Deion Stanley makes the stop, picks up 6. Looked like it was going to be a loss on the play.
Good running. You know, it really, the 1-2 punch of McNorton and Ojuri, they do a great job of keeping each other fresh, and they're able to come up with big plays, and good job of first contact around the line of scrimmage. Twice on that play, Ojuri was hit, could have been gone backwards. He keeps going forward and makes a positive play.
Jensen fires. Holloway goes up high to catch it at about the 27. John, let's go back and revisit now the keys, Congemi's keys to the game.
Oh, I just thought Georgia Southern on defense, they had to find a way to create turnovers. Right now they're -2 in turnover margin. They came into the game +5, and on offense you win the first quarter. If you're the Bison, you came out with a touchdown lead and you build on that, and you still have that lead going into the second half. So that's a big weapon for Craig Bohl, the head coach of the Bison, to try to add to this lead now in the third quarter.
The Bison 13-2 inside this building over the last 2 years, 5-0 against ranked teams this season. Georgia Southern comes in ranked number 2 in the coaches poll. There's another one, the big catch. Holloway's up over the 35, another first down. Lavelle Westbrooks defending on the play for Georgia Southern. They pick up 10 on the play.
It looked like he might have got dinged up on that play, Mike, but now you're 50% on third down, 3 of 6 for this game, but you can't afford to lose Warren Holloway on the outside. He's a playmaker that gets in and out of routes, and he does a good job of run after catch. Watch him just slip to the inside, elude the defender on Westbrooks, but let's hope he's okay for the Bison's sake on offense.
Ojuri Waits for his block. Good pop. Kyle Olbeck, the linebacker, coming up and making the stop. Penalty flag dropped at about the 35. You'd mentioned this earlier, John. When they're on offense, it really does get quiet in this building, doesn't it?
It does. These fans inside of the Fargo Dome, very educated.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Paul Kornick just named to the All-American team. This young man graded out 95.6 this year. He's guilty of the infraction.
Well, his coaching staff says he's physical, he plays smart. Looked like that time he just smothered Darius Eubanks on the edge and gets called for the hold.
Kornick, great size, 6'6", 309. All-American had 75 knockdown blocks this year for the Bison.
I'm not going to call a penalty on him. He's 6'6", 309.
Well, they already converted a 1st and 15 to a first down. Now it's 1st and 20. Averaging 8 yards of play here this afternoon, North Dakota State is. Jensen off to the races. I was just about to say they fooled no one, and all of a sudden he takes off to a scene.
Brock Jensen's done a great job, Mike, in this second half of coming up with design running plays. And I think that's a great job because you can't account. Normally you don't account for the quarterback if you don't have a triple option type of running style on offense. And Brock's done a nice job. He has 7 rushing touchdowns on the season. You can see the athleticism, and that turf toe doesn't seem to be bothering him in this football game, running the football.
Said it's been painful, but I would think the adrenaline would take over in a game like this. One step away from playing for a national championship. He's got 4 for 31 as far as rushing the football. Here's another completed ball. Cooper Walu up to the 45-yard line. LaRon Scott kind of wrestles him out of bounds.
Cooper Walu, only a sophomore. That's his 3rd reception in the season. He has to get that thing north and south in that situation because it looked like if he doesn't hesitate and gets going north and south, he may have got that first down. Now you put in a situation where you're in 3rd and 3. They're 50% on 3rd down, but a tough Georgia Southern defense right now up front. Brent Russell has to find a way to get him or his teammates to make a play up front.
Have to get to the 48-yard line for the first down. Smith. Jensen breaks it to the outside. First down and then some. He's down inside the 20, 10. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown. Brock Jensen. This one goes 55 yards. Earlier you mentioned that he has 13 passing touchdowns now, but now he has 8 rushing touchdowns to go.
Great call that time on the outside. Another designed quarterback run. That's the 3rd one in the 3rd quarter we've seen out of the Bison offense. Brock Jensen doing a great job going 55 yards. He looked around the 10-yard line just to see if anybody was going to get him. He said, maybe I can get there.
Nice fake to Ryan Smith to initiate that play. I thought he'd be caught at about the 5-yard line.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under review.
I believe they want to see if he stepped out around the 3-yard line when he was going to try to extend the football over the pylon or over the goal line. He was close to that sideline.
Well, you heard Todd Boyd say the ruling is a touchdown. So they're looking for indisputable video evidence to overturn this. No, he's still.
I think that's a touchdown.
Looks like a touchdown to me. If it stands, that's going to be a 96-yard drive in just 8 plays.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So Jensen gets his 8th rushing touchdown, and North Dakota State opens up a 20-7 lead thanks to that fumble recovery.
8 plays, 96 yards, 5:08 off the clock, and as you said, another fumble recovery leads to points offensively for the Bison.
Jastrom gets his. No, he missed it. So Jastrom misses the extra point. The scoring leader in the Missouri Valley Conference, 2 for 3, and now it's 20-7.
He just missed it right. Never had a chance.
Wow, 5:53 to go. Now instead of 21-7, it's 20-7. The number 16, Brock Jensen, goes 55. And thanks to the quarterback, he puts the 20 on the board.
Yeah, the quarterback never thinks he's going to get this opportunity to go 55. He looked back around the 10 and said, I got this, fellas. 27, Bison.
ESPN College Football is streaming live on your computer, tablet, or smartphone via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app.
Back inside the Fargo Dome, there's Brock Jensen, the redshirt sophomore out of Waupaca, Wisconsin. Just went 55 yards for the touchdown to open up a 20-7 lead. Oh my gosh. Timmy Tebow has made his way all the way to Fargo, North Dakota right now. You think Tim Tebow wears a Brock Jensen jersey to bed?
No, but after that 55-yarder, all bets are off.
We were talking about this yesterday, that that's all you hear about is Tim Tebow. I never thought I'd see his name surface here in Fargo here today. So 290-99 in the second and third quarters this year. North Dakota State outscoring the opposition.
Mike, you talked about that in the second quarter. They've had such an advantage in scoring points, 159-58 against the Bison, and now they've just extended that in the third quarter, and that's an explosive play by your quarterback. He's had a couple runs in this third quarter that have been able to propel this offense. They miss an extra point. You don't want to say that may come back to haunt you with 5:53 left, but with Georgia Southern, the way they can control the football.
You don't want to say that?
Well, not if you're wearing the home colors.
Laurent Scott back on the field to return the kick, standing at the 2. And Jastrom's kick hits at about the 16-yard line, a short kick, and Laurent Scott is drilled butts over the 30 at about the 32-yard line as Christian Dudzik comes up to make the stop. Let's go back and check out Brock Jensen now going 55 for the score.
Well, the key to this play is the way they get the center and the onside guard out in front and on the edge. There's really nobody out here except the cornerback and the one safety. So you get those big linemen, the center Joe Lund and Austin Richards, the guard, they get out in front and there's nobody else to stop the quarterback Brock Jensen as he goes 55 yards for the score.
Jay Beauchamp pitches it wide to Bryant and barely got over the line of scrimmage. Another great defensive play. Eagle in on the stop again along with Chad Wilson. Going to give him a gain of 1. Eagle, 5'11", 195 out of Appleton, Wisconsin. That guy's tough as nails.
He really's done a great job of coming downhill and tackling in the open field. And you were worried about that if you're Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator. He said he would be the key player in this football game. If he has a great game, we have a good chance of winning.
Swope. Justin Juckham, the sophomore, makes the stop, but he picks up 3, but now it's 3rd and 6.
Well, you keep Georgia Southern in these 3rd and long situations. You feel like the momentum's on your side. The crowd's getting into it. they've done a nice job of really preventing Georgia Southern on first and second down to get a lot of chunk yardage. So it's to the advantage of this Bison defense, and you can see the offense today well under the season average running the football.
3 for 10 on third down. Jabo Shaw feels some pressure, completes the ball, but going to be well shy. Nico Hickey on the receiving end. John Pike in coverage, a gain of 3. And Preston Evans was coming on strong right up the middle.
And Jabo Shaw limps to the sidelines. He was under pressure again from this Bison defense. He made a great play to get the ball off accurately, but well short of the first down. And this is the second time Shaw's taken a big hit and had to go to the sidelines, not feeling 100%.
Charlie Edwards sets his second punt. Ryan Smith takes it at the 30. 32-yard punts for Edwards. So Jabo Shaw feeling the pressure from this North Dakota State defense and taking a good hit that time. 27, Bison on top.
Connecticut, number 1 in the country. Baylor, number 2. They do not want the streak to end here in Hartford. Sims, we're tied at 48. Hartley nails it. The freshman with 3 huge baskets down the stretch for Connecticut. 2 seconds left. Here's Sims. It's over. Connecticut survives by 1.
Number 1 Baylor, number 2 UConn. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers on ESPN. Sunday night, 8:30 Eastern. Enough said.
That's right. Enough said. That's going to be a good one.
Both teams undefeated. 20-7 now, 4:19 to go in the third quarter. Both teams winning twice in the postseason. North Dakota State's picking up victories over James Madison and Lehigh. Georgia Southern beating Old Dominion in Maine, and now fighting for the chance to meet Sam Houston State in the national championship game down in Frisco, Texas on January 7th. Mentioned North Dakota State, 8 national titles. Runner-up 3 times, but all on the Division II level. BJ McNorton gets the call. Big Brent Russell coming up to make the stop.
Nobody fooled by the misdirection, especially the big guy up front, Brent Russell, and Deion Stanley, the free safety. And North Dakota State, they've had great success at the Division II level, winning 8 national championships, Mike. So this is a team that, in a program that knows about winning.
Last year making the playoffs for the first time on the FCS level. Got beat in the quarterfinals. Georgia Southern got beat in the semifinals last year in Jeff Monken's first season by Delaware. Jensen goes back to work. This one's going to be incomplete. Looking for the tight end, Garrett Broom. You know, we mentioned Georgia Southern getting beat by Delaware in the semifinals, and Delaware lost by 1 to Eastern Washington. So competitive football when you get to this
it really is
time of the year.
It's the top of that pinnacle, and not a lot of teams can get there. And right now for Georgia Southern, they have to find a way to get off the field on this third down. 3rd and long for the Bison, 3rd and 9. Jensen passing today, 10 of 14 for 137 and a touchdown, and he had that long 55-yard run to push the lead to 20-7.
Here comes some pressure. He gets rid of it, and the intended receiver was Holloway. He was wide open on the far side, but again, Jensen saw and felt that pressure coming.
Well, Mike, mark that set of downs, 3 and out. The Georgia Southern defense, they get the football. They come on the field with around 5 minutes left to go in this third quarter. They exit with 3:27, and that could be a defensive set of downs for this defense to get them off the field and try to get that triple option working.
Voigtlander's punt to Darian Robinson. Robinson jukes one man, but then there's a sea of gold jerseys. He's driven back to the 30-yard line. A 35-yard punt, 2-yard return. Well, tonight ESPNU has a college basketball triple-header starting at 6 Eastern. Appalachian State taking on number 6 North Carolina, followed at 8 Eastern as Houston takes on Oklahoma in the Ramada All-College Classic. Then at 10 o'clock Eastern, it's number 21 Alabama going up against Kansas State. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers tonight on ESPNU, ESPN3, and also streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Here come the Eagles now, down with 3:16 to go in the third quarter, down 20-7. Swope gets to the left side. Wilson makes the tackle. Swope picks up 4 more. Young man from Buford, Georgia. 255 against Old Dominion. Came in with 927. Over 1,000. 19 carries for 94 yards. So he's 40 with another 100-yard game.
And Mike, most of those yards have come up the middle. Tough running and yards after contact.
Jabo Shaw. Inside Bison territory and then some. He's driven out of bounds at about the 30. They're saying he stepped out of bounds before the 30-yard line, but the officials aren't going to agree. They're going to spot it right at about the 29.
Talked about the coaching adjustment on the outside, trying to get to the edge instead of doing all their work between the tackles, and a great block by Nico Hickey, number 20, on the inside. Really was able to spring Jabo Shaw to the outside, and now Georgia Southern has some momentum, and they're getting some positive plays in that running attack. That triple option starting to work. 55 yards on 12 attempts today for Shaw.
Shaw goes 33 on the play. They get that middle of that line again. Kyle Emanuel, the redshirt freshman, he's been battling a knee injury this year. Makes the stop. You mentioned that block on that last 33-yard run by Shaw. That block doesn't happen. Shaw doesn't go 33. That was a great block.
And it's most important in this triple option. It doesn't really matter if you're a wideout or one of those guys on the wings. If you cannot block, you can't play in this offense. And all of those guys know the priority is blocking downfield.
Swope started breaking outside, cut back into the inside. He's down near the 22-yard line. 90 seconds to go in the third quarter. So Swope picks up 6 more.
Now it's multiple times this Eagles offense has been able to get close to the red zone. They haven't been able to consistently come away with points. They have to get an opportunity either to get into the end zone on this 3rd and 4 opportunity or come away with some type of points, because they have a whole quarter left in the fourth quarter right now.
Swope, 21 carries, exactly 100 yards. Shaw really battling with that.
Jabo's going to have to call timeout.
53 seconds to go. Shaw calls the timeout. Georgia Southern down to the last timeout with 1 quarter to play.
We saw that happen in the first half to the Bison. They wasted 2 timeouts early in the first quarter in that first half, and they had 1 remaining at the end of the right before halftime. So now Georgia Southern, that's down 20-7, only 1 timeout remaining.
Well, they've been down here before. Coughed it up. Once on a run and once on the completed ball to Wilcox as they were going in, which would have been the equalizer at 14-14. Right now it's 20-7. Eagles on the move when we come back facing a 3rd and 4. Eagles 3 for 11 on third down. This is a football team that converted 52% on the season. 3rd and 4. Robinson. He's going to have to outrun everybody. He turns the corner. He's got it. And he's down to the 10-yard line. Looked like the Bison would string it out, but Robinson turned it on. Dudzik finally pushes him out, but a gain of 14. It's a first down.
Plenty of speed to the outside by Robinson, and it looked like Kyle Emanuel to the top of the screen. Watch 53. He's going to have him hemmed in, but he doesn't keep the edge. He doesn't set the edge up top, and that allows Robinson to use that speed and agility to get to the outside and convert on third down.
First and goal for the Eagles. Swope. Penalty flags all over the field. He's down to the 5-yard line. Have to wait the call. At least 2 or 3 flags went down. He picked up 5 on the carry.
It looked like 45. Chad Wilson was going to be a ball carrier in the backfield for the Eagles. He was back there so fast.
And the Bison were indicating that it actually
Offsetting fouls in the play. Offsides, defense, number 45. Holding, offense, number 51. Penalties are all set, down to be replayed, first down.
Well, good call, John. It was Wilson 45 offside, and holding on William Maxwell, the center.
There's the linebacker jumping into the backfield. That was the easy call, and then you get the holding on the inside. And right now, you got to take a look at Jay Beauchamp. He has 14 rushing touchdowns. Watch that quarterback follow inside the red zone.
There's that defense. Stepping up as Georgia Southern tries to hit that middle of the line. That's going to be the last play. So, going to change sides of the field. Heading for the final 15 minutes. The Eagles averaging 37. Wilcox coughed up the football. The Bison turned it around into a touchdown as Jensen goes 55 in the dive and the touchdown. It's 27. Fourth quarter's coming up around the bend. Welcome back to the NCAA Division I Championship presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. See the four fingers being held up. This is the time when fans and team says all those sprints in the summer pay off. The fourth quarter belongs to them. Robinson, wow. Tried to look for some running room. Preston Evans, number 44, was there to make sure he didn't find it. A loss of one on the play. A team that's averaging 37 points a game. Last time they had to come from behind after the third quarter was last November against Furman. They trailed 28-17 at the end of three, and they won at 32-28.
Well, it must be frustrating for the Eagles on offense, only scoring 7 points, but I would look for their quarterback, Jabo Shaw, to get the edge on this play, try to extend it on the corner.
Robinson trying to turn the corner. He's inside the 5-yard line. Again, number 20, Colton Hegel came up fast along with Marcus Williams. But not fast enough to prevent a 6-yard gain. And now another fourth down situation for the Eagles, and they're inside the 5-yard line.
Colton Hegel comes out of that secondary again with a big hit. This is a good job getting outside by Robinson, the running back. He turns it upfield, but there's that blur in 20. Colton Hegel. We talked about how mentally tough he has to be. Physically, we know about his toughness playing with that thumb injury. He's done an outstanding job for the Bison defensively today, coming up with multiple tackles on his own.
I was going to say, I wonder how much wrapping up he's been able to do today, but doesn't have to when he hits like that.
Robinson, who's been shaken up on the play, 5 carries for 35 yards. He's averaging 7 yards per carry. We just hope he's okay for the Eagles because he's been a big weapon on the outside.
So Georgia Southern. So Hegel now with 14 tackles in the ball game.
He's just a blur coming out of the secondary. He's not in your screen until right there, and he delivers that right shoulder, and it looks like the Eagles are going to stay on the football field on 4th and goal and go for it again on 4th down.
Everybody's standing in this building.
I've mentioned Shaw in 14 rushing touchdowns. He hasn't run it once inside the red zone. Might this be the time on the 9th play of the drive?
Whistles will stop, and North Dakota State's going to use up one of their timeouts.
Timeout, North Dakota State.
But Coach Bohl still has 2 remaining here in the fourth quarter. So we'll use up one of our timeouts as well. 20-7, 14 minutes to go. Georgia Southern, when we come back, face a 4th and goal from the 3. The NCAA Division I College Football Championship is presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. And in part by the HTC Resound, the only phone with built-in Beats audio. Speaking of built-in Beats, Jeff Monken and his quarterback listening to a very loud and boisterous crowd. There's that discipline you talked about on the defensive side of the ball.
-5, Brandon Jamison setting that edge, Mike. Couple plays before, Kyle Emanuel let Robinson get outside, but this defense has learned from that. That's just a great job of setting the edge to the outside and not allowing the running back to get to the outside. Swope cannot get outside. Sure tackler in space, and then he gets help from his partners. 4th and goal, trying to get outside using the speed, but Jamison says no.
Inside 14 minutes now, and the Bison. Time to eat some clock. Jury. We'll eat some clock, but back before a long run up over the 45-yard line. And if that, in the first half, he may have inadvertently said he went over 1,000. If he didn't then, he's over 1,000 now.
You were going to be right one way or another, Mike. He was going to make sure of that.
39 yards on the play.
Sam Ojuri did an excellent job of finding a crease off the short side. Good kick-out block that time by Austin Richards, the guard. And then it's power and speed. That's the blend that Sam Ojuri brings to the table. Remember, he's got the speed. He's had a long of 95 yards this year, but great blocking at the point of attack by this offensive line. And then it's all the sophomore from Lake in the Hills, Illinois.
Josh Rowe, middle linebacker, the number 2 tackler on this team, leaves after being shaken up in the play.
North Dakota State's been able to run the football effectively. The 1-2 punch. The quarterback, Jensen, 5 rushes for 86 yards, and Ojuri has 57. You figure it's going to be DJ McNorton and Ojuri, but you get that running from Jensen, the 55-yarder down the middle. That's unexpected running yards you're going to pick up from your quarterback. And that was big in the 3rd quarter.
Decent average so far per play for the Bison as well.
9.5 yards per play. This team's moving it on the ground.
Berkeley Grimm, the true freshman, in at fullback right now for North Dakota State. Jensen taking his time with the snap. Here comes DJ McNorton. Oh, he was close to breaking that one. Well, he came into the ballgame just 113 yards shy of 1,000. They could wind up with a double whammy here.
He goes for 16, DJ does, on that first down play. That's just a good job of showing his strength in between the tackles, breaking a couple arm tackles, and he was a step away from going the distance. Really like, Mike, what Brock Jensen's doing with this play clock. He's taking it down to around 2 seconds or 1 second left on this play clock before he's snapping the football. Although it's early in this 4th quarter, you want to try to milk this clock as much as you can.
216 yards rushing now for North Dakota State. They came in averaging $167. Ojuri. Another nice run inside the 30-yard line.
And Mike, this is the time when you're an offensive lineman and you're a quarterback and you get in that huddle and they look at you and they say, keep it coming. We want to run the football. We feel like we have the advantage right now. They got the big bodies up front for the Bison on a smaller defensive front for Georgia Southern, and they want to control the line of scrimmage, and as a result, they can control this football game.
They're certainly controlling the line of scrimmage on this drive right now. Inside 12 minutes. Ojuri again. And again, he finds some running room up inside the 25-yard line. He had 9 carries for 65 before that carry. The Capital One Bowl Week continues. 2 games tonight on ESPN starting at 5:30. It's Utah State against Ohio. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, followed by 9 Eastern as San Diego State goes up against Louisiana Lafayette. Capital One Bowl Week tonight on ESPN, ESPN Radio, ESPN3, and also streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. And right now, this Georgia Southern defense is watching North Dakota State just pound it down the field. And if they score here, John, Even though there's still 11 minutes in the game, it could be the clincher the way the two defenses have played so far.
False start. Offense. Number 63. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You know, we talked a lot about North Dakota State and the defense that Craig Bohl's team has done, and rightly so. Obviously, facing the triple option for the first time, they've done a remarkable job. But really, Georgia Southern, up until this point here, they played some pretty good defense, because Jeff Monken was telling us that they had some adjusting to do on the defensive side. They had to step it up a little bit, make better tackles, read their assignments better.
They've done a good job today. It's been the 2 turnovers that have changed the complexion of this football game.
McNorton turns it up. And Josh Rowe came up to make the stop. McNorton picks up 4 on the play.
Good to see Rowe back in the football game. A couple plays ago, he went to the sidelines, and this is a guy that packs a punch when he brings a tackler or running back down with his tackling ability. 68 coming into this game in total tackles. The junior linebacker. And Mike, they have to keep the Bison off the board, because right now you're thinking Georgia Southern with 2 touchdowns and 2 conversions. That's 23 points. So you want to keep it to a field goal opportunity if you're Georgia Southern right now.
Ojuri. He likes to spin when he hits that line, huh? He had 70 yards rushing the football on this drive before that carry by Ojuri. Now 77 after he picks up 7.
Well, you talk about that spin move, and he's just going off a resistance. He feels the pressure of the hit from the outside. He goes away and spins away from Kyle Olbeck, and then he goes another 3 or 4 yards. He has that running style that you like. He has that great blend of power and speed, but he goes to the sideline holding that right knee.
Fullback Andrew Grothman in the backfield as Jensen works from the shotgun now. Inside 10 minutes in the ball game. Jensen, design, and for good reason. He rumbles down near the 5-yard line. So Jensen picks up 8 more before Stanley makes the stop.
Great play design and play call that time by offensive coordinator Brett Vigen. He does a great job of getting in and motioning. You know it's man coverage. You bring your big fullback in, Grothman, being able to lead on that quarterback draw, and then it's all up to Brock Jensen, who's had an excellent game throwing the football, but rushing the football. 6 carries for 94 yards and that 55-yard touchdown.
First and goal, McNorton down to about the 4-yard line. 8:29, 8:27, clock is running. So Brent Vigen mentioned the offensive coordinator, talking with Brent Vigen yesterday. 12 wins here, most since 2000. And here's a football team that they had back-to-back 10-1 seasons, but they slipped to 3-8 a couple of years ago. 9-5 last year. It's nice to see an AD not hitting the panic button when they're 3-8. Here they are right now at 12-1.
Quality coaches. We had a chance to meet with both staffs, and you know, really quality coaches on both sidelines.
9th play of the drive started way back on their own 8-yard line. Ojuri getting closer, in for the touchdown. All right, 26-7. You go for 2 here, John? I mean,
it looks like they're calling for it on the sidelines. They don't want to take any chances. That was a dominating drive by the Bison, and credit that offensive line. Most of the time you don't get your name called out when you're wearing those 50s and 60s and 70s, but they did a great job of moving people. Gimstead, the right guard, doing a great job. Paul Kornick, Joe Lund, Austin Richards, and Billy Turner moving people out of the way.
So Sam Ojuri, the sophomore from Illinois, goes over 1,000 and picks up his 11th rushing touchdown. One behind DJ McNorton now, who has 12, but the Bison going for 2 with 7:45 to go. Holloway at the bottom of your screen, the number 1 receiver split wide right. A little shovel pass. DJ McNorton took a page out of Georgia Southern's book that time.
Only fitting to go to the option against a triple option team on that 2-point conversion. Total yards has just been dominated by the Bison, 395. They've had 258 on the ground and just grinding it to this 28-7 lead.
Starts at the 8, and they go 92. 9 plays, 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Sam Ojuri gets his 11th rushing touchdown, and why not go for 2? Just to play it safe. McNorton, a 1-2 punch, and it's 28-7. Sam Ojuri, the sophomore from Lake in the Hills, Illinois. DJ McNorton got banged up, so they closed out the regular season. Hit 128 yards rushing, 136 last week, and they've used the 1-2 punch here today. They go 92 yards, mostly on the ground that time, as they ate some clock as well.
Terrific drive, 9 plays, 92 yards. They cap it off with the big run, and that offensive line did a spectacular job of chewing some of that clock down. Only 7:45 left to go in this football game for Georgia Southern. Can they get a spark on special teams? They're going to need to get a big play here to cut this football field in half.
Announced attendance 18,108 inside the Fargo Dome today. Ron Scott waits the kick, and it goes out of bounds before it reached the end zone. So Georgia Southern down 28-7. They have some decent field position now, and get back to that 1-2 punch, and you can throw in Brock Jensen, the quarterback.
Yeah, he's been just as effective as McNorton and Ojuri, doing a good job on the outside, being able to get quarterback runs here on the 55-yard touchdown. That really broke the game wide open. Just a great effort on the outside, but when you mix in Sam Ojuri, you get that blend of power and speed on the outside. And in between the tackles, he's not a big guy, at only 6 foot 200 pounds, but he's been able to push that pile forward, and then he gets in the end zone to make the 28-7 Bison.
Well, do we start seeing Jabo Shaw with 7:45 to go start winging it?
He's going to try.
Took the hit right after he delivered the pass, and it's complete to Jonathan Bryant. And once again, Scotty Hazelton's defense putting 3-4 guys on the football. Colton Boyer was coming on strong from the backside, and he just got that throw off.
That was good poise in the pocket that time from a guy that doesn't throw it a lot. But now with 7:37 left to go in this game, he's going to have to put the football up a little bit more than he's accustomed to. Remember, head coach Jeff Monken talked about his quarterback this week to us, Mike, saying during any part of the season, he hasn't thrown the football this effectively and this crisp at practice than he has this week.
goes Shaw, stretching it out. There's number 20 again. Coach Bull, Coach Hazelton said that number 20, Colton Hegel, would play a key role in this game despite missing the last two, and he's exceeded everyone's expectations.
He's just been around the football on this option on the outside the entire afternoon. And he's that guy. He's going to give up his body, but watch the effort. Even with the broken hand, the broken thumb on that left hand, does a great job of getting down the quarterback, Jabo Shaw.
Got 15 tackles, a career high, and this one's complete. Now they're down, knocking close to the 30-yard line at the 32. Kentrella Showers. Carlton Littlejohn, the redshirt freshman from Minneapolis, makes the stop, but they pick up 9 more. 6:50 left in the ball game.
And a good drive, all starting with a special teams error, kicking it out of bounds. So the Eagles get great field position, and a couple nice passes by Jabo Shaw get that football down to the 31-yard line of the Bison.
Shaw, far side, that's Wilcox. Out of bounds. Looks like Travis Beck. He tackled him, and then it was like, oh, I shouldn't have pushed him out of bounds.
Right, try to keep him in bounds. Right now, if you're the Bison on defense, keep that clock running. It's in your favor. It's 6:31 and counting. Jabo today, 10 of 15 for 129. Most pass attempts in a game this season.
10 of 15. Those are good numbers. Shaw, he's going down. Another sack. Kyle Emanuel, the redshirt freshman from Nebraska, leading the attack that time. A loss of 7.
Mike, when the Bison come and they put the pressure, they're coming and they're relentless. They had a target right on the front of Jabo Shaw's jersey, and that time wearing number 53, Kyle Emanuel, gets in. That's his 5th sack of the season.
38 sacks now for this football team. A shot. His arm was not going forward. That's going to be a live football, and another big turnover. Oh, wait a minute now. The officials maybe said his arm was going forward. Coulter Boyer, the senior, was all over him. And the crowd's not going to like this call.
Well, Boyer, as you said, he's the guy that sets the tempo. I'm not sure if that arm was going forward. That's the right hand of Colton Boyer gets in on Jabo Shaw. We're going to take one more look at this. This is the 3-year starter, the senior from Hurley, South Carolina. I don't think that ball was going forward, Mike.
I agree with you.
Shaw tried to get it cranked up going down the field, but that looks like a fumble to me.
Looks like a fumble to me too, partner. And if it was, they'd be what, plus 18 now for the season? But the official spots it back.
Looks like Ryan Drevlo.
Line.
Yeah, Ryan Drevlo was on the fumble recovery if, in fact, this call gets reversed.
Well, they went upstairs to take a look at it. Remember, the call was his arm was going forward, so an incompleted pass. And they're looking for indisputable video evidence.
Let's take one more look at this. Jabo Shaw going to his right. He's trying to throw it down the football field, but I'm not so sure that ball comes out before that arm starts going forward.
I think they'll overturn it. At best, the play will stand. At best.
I would think this is going to be a fumble.
After review, the ball is fumbled. Recovered in the immediate vicinity by North Dakota State.
Third turnover for Georgia Southern. Plus 18 now on the season for this North Dakota State defense.
Well, Mike, we talked way back when at the open of this broadcast, we kind of felt that turnovers may play an important role in this game because offensively they were fairly even. Defensively, they got the ball for their offense. And this is the situation today for Jabo Shaw and head coach Jeff Monken. They turned the football over one too many times, and the Bison were able to take advantage of those turnovers and turn them into points.
5:39. I've been burned before. saying this a little bit too early, but 28-7, 5:39 to go. I think that might have been the dagger right there for Georgia Southern. Now Jensen and company will just eat some clock. DJ McNorton gets the call. Olbeck makes the stop.
Any kind of offense that may be prolific throwing the football, that can spread you out, you may think that Georgia Southern would have an opportunity, but right now it's going to be a tough task for Jay Beauchamp in that offense, and especially for this defense to get back off the football field with only one timeout remaining.
Well, we mentioned the 12 wins, the most since 2000, finished 12-2, hoping to avoid a 12-2 finish this year, of course. If they win this football game, they'll be 13-1. Inside 5 minutes now. Ojuri cuts it back up, and he's inside Georgia Southern territory again. The NCAA Division I Football Championship concludes in Frisco, Texas, January 7th, 1 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN2, where the FCS champion will be crowned. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. The winner of this football game will take on the #1 seed, Sam Houston State, who held down to beat Montana 31-28 last night.
Well, you talk about a team that thought it was over. Last night it looked like Sam Houston State was going to run away and hide, but Montana had other ideas.
Yeah, that was, 31-14 going into the fourth quarter. McNorton breaks free inside the 30, 20, all the way down to the 15 before Deion Stanley. Free safety finally has to pull him down. Well, they're hungry. They want more.
This Bison running attack has been relentless this afternoon, starting at the quarterback position and then going from Sam Ojuri to DJ McNorton. And he's very smart. He stays inbounds. That clock will continue to run once they set the football. Just this 1-2-3 punch of Jensen, McNorton, and Ojuri. Too much rushing. And you see 32 plays on the ground, 298 yards, almost 10 yards per carry. Just a great job by this offensive line in this running attack.
Ojuri again. And for that last run by McNorton, I think that Brent Beecham, the offensive coordinator, was just saying, okay, let's eat some clock. Let's enjoy this drive and pick up a couple of first downs. And the running backs, obviously they got a pretty good thirst for another touchdown.
And they got that added spark by Brock Jensen being able to run the football. And Brent Vigen, the offensive coordinator, did such a great job of scheming the quarterback runs. He had the quarterback draw. He had the quarterback going to the short side of the field with that opposite guard and center pulling. They did a nice job of utilizing everybody in this rushing attack today.
Inside 3 minutes now for North Dakota State. So Jury cuts it back in. Gets to about the 5-yard line. He's drilled by Josh Rowe. We're inside the Fargo Dome in Fargo, North Dakota, the home of the Bison of North Dakota State, the #2 seed, taking on the #3 seed, the Eagles of Georgia Southern, along with former Pitt quarterback John Conjemi. I'm Mike Gleason. It's been a good football game. You might catch that 28-7 score. 2 of those touchdowns came off of huge turnovers. And these Bison fans, they came in hungry, and the team might have been just a little bit hungrier.
They did a nice job defensively as well. Don't forget about shutting down really that triple option attack of Georgia Southern. They came in averaging running the football over 300 yards. They kept them under 200 today.
McNorton lays on the pile at about the 2-yard line. So again, the Bison of North Dakota State representing the Missouri Valley Conference, the last team from the MVC to reach the finals. Northern Iowa in 2005, and they got beat by a team from the Southern Conference, Appalachian State. Now it looks like North Dakota State will make their first appearance in the national championship game as an FCS member after winning 8 national championships as a Division II program. And Georgia Southern will fall in the national semifinals in back-to-back years in Jeff Monken's second season. Jury stacked up at about the 4, but just a minute 20 left, Darius Eubanks along with Josh Gebhardt in on the stop.
Right now, you can almost kneel on it twice and call it an evening.
So Georgia Southern averaging 37 points a game. Their season low was 17 against Appalachian State, and their only loss in conference play. They scored 21 against Alabama. That's the most Bama have given up all season. But just 7 here against this North Dakota State defense this afternoon. DJ McNorton gets his 13th rushing touchdown. This one covers 4 yards, and they're averaging 32, and now they have 34.
They've been dominant all second half on the ground, and really the whole entire game. They've been able to control the clock, control the tempo with that running attack of DJ McNorton and Sam O'Jury. Brock Jensen's done a nice job of orchestrating this offense from the quarterback position. It looks like the Bison have a date with Sam Houston State.
I would think so with 39 seconds to go. Jastrom, who missed his last extra point on, made sure of this one. Gets it right down the middle of the freeway. 4th different player to rush for a touchdown today for North Dakota State. And we mentioned they had 33 rushing touchdowns coming in. So 37 on the year as DJ McNorton gets his 13th on the season. Tough pill to swallow. Some dejected Eagles there. Georgia Southern, they were 10-5 last year. 11 offensive starters back, 9 on defense, 20 of the 22 starters back this year. And they're going to finish 11-3 with 39 seconds to go.
Mike, when you look back at this football game, Georgia Southern came out and it was a situation where turnovers dictated the early start of this game, a 7-0 start by the Bison, and Craig Bohl was celebrating on the sideline with his team. And really turnovers were the story, and he gets another bucket, just make sure they got them all.
Bohl's going to move to 15-8 against nationally ranked FCS teams. There we go. 39 seconds to go. LaRon Scott at the 5. LaRon Scott, nice return up over the 30, still on his feet over the 35-yard line. And he's finally wrestled down by Brian Shepard. 29 seconds to go. And we'll be back to wrap things up here from the Fargo Dome right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back inside the Fargo Dome. 35 points, John. But if I was going to give a game ball away, number 20, Colton Hegel might get that ball.
Well, you're right. You know, this is a guy that ignited this defense, and he was playing with a broken thumb. Hasn't played in 2 weeks, and we talked to Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator. He said he would be the key to stopping the triple option. He would have to tackle in space. He would have to be aggressive, not hesitate, and dictate really how they stop the triple option, coming up in space and making plays all afternoon. Colton Hegel was a man among boys today, and he showed his toughness not only mentally but physically with his speed going sideline to sideline, doing what he could for this defense. And he's a guy that can be proud of his accomplishments today. 15 tackles, 9 of those solo. Colton, you played a well of a football game.
Against a football team that rushed for 634 yards against Western Carolina earlier this year, Jabo Shaw just gets nailed. That's Grant Olson, a sophomore from Plymouth, Minnesota. Nice gesture as he helps the quarterback back to his feet. 23 seconds to go.
There's been a couple of occasions this afternoon that Jabo Shaw has taken big shots. One of them from Grant Olson on that last play, but credit Shaw's toughness. He kept coming back and trying to get his team in the position to win a football game.
Shaw goes upstairs, and he was looking for Nico Hickey. That's incomplete. 18 seconds to go. So North Dakota State with 186 yards in the first half, and they came out in the second half and put up 265, so 451 for the ball game. You look at Georgia Southern against this North Dakota State defense, 330. They come in averaging 443.
They came in with some impressive numbers offensively, did the Eagles from Georgia Southern, but this defense for North Dakota State, they did such a great job of running sideline to sideline and not allowing the big play today.
Shaw completes the ball, and the clock will run. They'll probably get one play. That could be it. So just 7 seconds remaining, and that's going to be the final play of this football game. North Dakota State 314 rushing yards on the day.
Just a terrific job by North Dakota State and their head coach Craig Bohl shaking hands with Jeff Monken, the head coach for the Eagles. Two good teams to get to this point. They'll make their first FCS championship appearance after 8 national titles in Division II.
So Coach Bohl, former defensive coordinator at Nebraska, he was a little bit concerned the fact that he hadn't faced the triple option. Your thoughts on this, the job the defense did against this team?
Well, I think you have to mention Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator, Colton Hegel, those guys, Colton Boyer, the linebackers, and Evans, Wilson, and Beck. They did a great job of running sideline to sideline, getting those turnovers they needed to find to win this football game.
North Dakota State with 8 national championships on the Division II level. They'll take on Sam Houston State for a shot at the title for the first time as an FCS opponent.
2 dynamic football teams in Sam Houston State and the Bison from North Dakota State. Can't wait to watch that one.
4 different Bison players scoring a rushing touchdown. Once again, the final score is 35-7. Up next, we'll check in with the studio, followed by a 6 Eastern college basketball game. Appalachian State takes on number 6 North Carolina. This has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. North Dakota State advances to face number 1 Sam Houston State in the FCS championship game. For John Congemi and our entire ESPNU crew, Mike Gleason saying so long from Fargo. Now let's join Dari Noka back in the studio.